Seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Backyard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco.
Good morning. Welcome into Coop and the Hog. That's right, baby.
Well, Coop and the Hogs. We are live, baby.
Let's go. Double Harris.
No Simon
fully
today.
expected to pull this off and have a third pair.
One of these days, I'll hit him with the 3-bagger, dude.
I would have lost it.
Go, dude. No Simon home, no show sheet, no Keith, no Ernie. We're cutting them all off.
Nobody.
What is all this stuff he has written down here?
I have no idea, but we're just ignoring that, right? Well, welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, aka Coop and the Hogs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We got a fun day planned ahead for y'all. We got some people in the chat. We got Spooky Season said morning Spooky.
Morning, Spooks.
We got Maria, Coop and the Hog. It's hogs. We're all hogs here.
We're all
Maria.
hogs, dude. Coop and the Hogs, baby. Yeah, that Coop and the Hog. It's feels a little derogatory. That's
yeah. It kind of feels bad. The other one feels like a part of something.
The other one feels like you're like the head hog and everyone's hogs. I'm a hog
feels
too.
like I'm part of a group.
I feel that's a little bit better. You just Coop and the Hog. It's like,
definitely just
it's Coop and then this guy's a hog. Yeah,
and then me, I'm just a hog.
Yeah, no. Coop and the Hog. We're all hogs. You're the head hog show. I think that's the way it should be. We
got Craig in the chat. Said last night the 49ers won with Brock Purdy. It wasn't always pretty, but he was sturdy. Seattle was led by QB Geno. After a hot start, they are losing more now than JL playing Keno. Join us for this and more on the FYF Morning Show. Go like and subscribe if you are a friend, family, or foe.
Ooh,
that was beautiful.
Tommy's coming. I'll do Tommy's. We should just have the chat write rap battles for us to do
for us. I love that idea.
Tommy says, the Niners and Hawks kicked off week 15 of so much football, it's almost obscene. Purdy looked good. Niners clinched a spot. Now it's time to see what the rest of the league got. So hang out today with the FYF crew. Let's see if you can win you a bet or two.
Or two.
Boom shakalaka.
That's what I call papadilla right there.
Papadilla. Boom shakalaka. I don't know. Those are both pretty even rhymes there.
Yeah, who wins this one? Is it Craig or is it Tommy?
I don't know. I don't think I can call it, dude. That's gonna have to be for the Hogs to decide. I think it's just. I'm gonna have to put a vote in the chat, aren't I? I don't know if it has to be a head-to-head, dude. It could be more like a Jurassic 5 thing where we're all just rapping together as boys, like a Run DMC.
I like that.
DMC type situation. Yeah. So nobody has to win. We're all picking each other up here, dude. It's Scoop and the Hogs, dude. Simon's the one that's always forcing us to play games against each other.
That's true. Why is he so competitive?
He just pit us against each other all the time. I'm telling you, dude. Now let's just throw the show sheet out the window and just bash Simon today.
All right, I'm totally about that. 3 hours anti-Simon.
Yeah, you know what though? He's one of the Hogs, so we'll be nice to him today. Even though he pits us against each other, makes us play games, declares a winner, right? Like,
yeah, Whew.
Unbelievable.
Got me on a roller coaster. I don't know if I should be nice or mean.
Yeah, today. Well, right. Now I'm a little confused.
You got me to buy in on being mean to him, and then you're like, whoa, man, let's not be too mean.
I brought it right back around.
Don't be a jerk.
I wanted to test. That was a test. That was a test to see if you were willing to be mean.
Did I pass?
You did, because when you're one of the Hogs, you have to be willing to be mean to the people that go against
the other
us,
Hogs,
right?
True.
To the other Hogs. Yeah, you have to get in the hog pen and just be a little mean. It's
just be a little jerkish,
Yeah, but it works kind of like the group chat. Like when you're in a group chat with people, like your friends, or just like any friend group, like you're mean to your friends, right?
Right.
But
that's how you show love.
That's how you show love, right? You joke around, you're mean. But once somebody is actually mean to one of your friends, then you group up together.
Yeah.
And wait a second, only I'm allowed to be mean to Simon.
Yeah, you can,
right?
it's the same with siblings, right? Like you're just brutal to your siblings growing up. But one other kid tries to be mean to your sibling,
It's on. Yeah, you turn into that Megatron. You turn into that when all
Mega
Power
Hog.
Rangers come into one, become one thing. That's what happens there. Yeah.
Man, you really love Power Rangers, huh?
Yeah. Rest in peace to the yellow and the White Ranger.
Green.
Yeah.
Green?
Green. He was both the Green and the White Ranger. I think that's yeah. Rest in peace. And Tommy says, "You guys must really love me." Yeah, because we're so mean to you. Well, that's it, Tom.
You
That's
guys
it,
must
Tommy.
really love me.
We joke around with you because we love you. But if somebody were to be mean to you from the outside forces were to come in, we would totally hook
Coming
up.
for you.
We hook up on you. We Komodo.
Yeah,
we go Komodo dragon right on whoever that was. There she is. Dude.
There she came out real early. Real early. First of the week, really.
First 5 minutes, dude. First 5 minutes. The hogs are out. The Komodos are out. This is
Already got a little bit of bullying. Got a little bit of Komodo dragon.
gonna be one of those.
We
days.
got some fun segments for everybody today. Later, we got some hypothetically. Tim coming on. We got some fantasy detective with Vinny. Holiday characters battle royale. I'm hyped for that one. It's been a bit since we did the reptile one, so really it's only fitting that I brought out the Komodo dragon because
Right. Is Komodo in this one? I'm not sure he's quite a holiday character.
no, not yeah. I thought about it, but thought I'd get clowned.
Is
Not a holiday.
Is James Bond a Christmas movie?
Yeah,
Because then you could sneak him in. Then you could sneak
True.
Komodo.
And
Tommy
Komodo
says,
dragon.
Tommy says Komodo claws.
Komodo claws.
There you go.
I
Dude.
like that. Well, it is that time. Bring your own breakfast. We're gonna hit some news stories. Coop and I talk about the latest happenings in the NFL and the world. We are news guys. BYOB time.
Let's
Let's
get
go.
newsed up, dude. The first and most important news. I don't want to sound arrogant here. I don't want to come off as like
Of course not.
white privileged or anything. But I had donuts this morning. It's Friday morning, and I'm feeling fired up. So as far as news goes, that's pretty important stuff.
What kind of donut?
I had two. So I have mini donuts. I still have one left here for the break, but I had a mini
Powdered?
plain.
Don't you dare say powdered.
One of them. It's two different ones, plain and powdered. Do you not like powdered donuts?
I don't dislike powdered donuts. I eat a powdered donut, but it's not the best.
But it falls into your. Everyone has those donut categories, though, right? Like you have the donuts that you like, and then you have the donuts that you'll eat if they're there. And then some people have the donuts that they won't eat. I don't have such donuts on my list, but I've heard of people that are like, I won't eat a jelly donut.
Yeah, I don't know why I hated jelly donuts so much as a kid because I like jelly and I like donuts. But for some reason, I didn't like jelly donuts as a kid. But now I'm an adult. I don't mind it.
Yeah. Jelly falls into one of the ones that I have to be in the right mood for. I see Tommy in the chat, Boston Cream, king of the donuts. I mean, that is a serious donut. You have to be in
That's the one I have not eaten or don't eat.
Really? So it's basically, I mean, it's just a donut with like vanilla pudding in it, really.
That's kind of what I've gathered, and I'm just not like the biggest pudding fan, like the vanilla pudding fan. So I just would never pick it.
You've observed them from a distance, and that you've surmised that's the.
I'm like, I think I've got your number.
Yeah.
I think I've figured you out, donut.
I think I've got. But again, it's like I have to be in the mood for those cream filled. What's your number one favorite donut? Like
Strawberry sprinkle.
Ooh, the strawberry sprinkle. That is a good one. That's an underrated one, I feel.
It's iconic, it's just like you see that, you think Simpsons movie.
Simpsons, yeah, it's a classic.
But then you think
donut.
Delicious donut.
It is a delicious donut. I like the ones that are like really cakey. Like I like a good like blueberry cake type donut.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Blueberry frosted.
But they're like thick, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maria gets those a lot, and I'll end up eating them a lot. I've come to really enjoy them as well. I'm in. Totally bought in. Yeah.
In's got it, dude. Cake style, Swansea sea snakes. Yeah, that's what's up. Any of those cake style ones, Trayvon.
I never thought of it as cake style.
Because they're like thick, you know what I mean? They're like thicker.
No, it makes
sense
ones, now that you say it. Because like as soon as you said it, my mind went to the blueberry one. It's like it is different than the strawberry. Like those are fluffy. The blueberries are like definitely denser and moister. Huh?
So you're in.
I've thought about this.
You're in.
Totally in.
Yeah. Did you bring any news today? That was news from my end so far.
Oh, I didn't bring any news. No, I brought some news. The latest on this Buffalo Dolphins game we got yesterday is 9+ inches of snow is expected in Buffalo by Saturday night,
Ooh-wee.
according to the National Weather Service.
9 inches of snow.
9 inches, 9+ inches. That could be anything.
It'll
That
be-
plus means it could be anything.
It'll be very interesting to see. So, like the Dolphins, we probably have no sample size on guys playing in snow like that. And with the Bills, I'm not even really sure. We'll have to go back and see what kind of weather games they've had and who's excelled, because there are certain players in the past where, for some reason, they were just amazing in the snow. Like, I don't know why, but LaShawn
Derrick
McCoy.
Henry.
Hello, Derrick Henry. Yeah, he's a tank. LaShawn McCoy was always so good in the snow. Like, he had monster games in the snow. Maybe he knew exactly what equipment to wear, right?
Yeah.
Because you're changing cleats. You wear different cleats on turf, different ones on grass, and different ones in the snow. And you wear different gloves. Did you know that, JL?
I did not know that.
I used to work at Modell's Sporting Goods, and part of it was like we had this
What'd you
one
do?
equipment guy. I was just kind of mess around, but like we had this one equipment. wait till my it was high school, so I just wait till my shift was over and to hope nobody asked me anything, right? Like,
What a funny response to that question.
Yeah. Like, what did you?
Well,
Yeah, what did you do at your jobs when you were like 17? You know, what did I do? You know, I was just
It paid me to
sports
loiter.
scientist. But I did listen to some things sometimes, and there was like a guy who was a very serious. He took his job very, very seriously. Equipment guy that like he would, he knew the different cleats for different turfs, different like that, and he taught me about the different kinds of gloves. Explains why some are more expensive than others, but like the really sticky, like synthetic gloves.
Yeah.
That like you picture with like the Odell catch, like you can't wear those when they get wet, they don't work. You have to wear leather gloves for that. So it's different gloves, it's different cleats. It's if you're not ready for it, I'm sure.
Leather gloves for the snow, doesn't that ruin them?
No. So it's like when they get wet, it makes them kind of like, well, because they're not like, it's not like a leather jacket yet. Like you're not like worried about the you're not worried about,
thinking of that whole Friends episode where or is it Friends?
Yeah. They wear suede gloves and they're like, oh, my gloves are ruined.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's not like,
is it suede that I'm thinking
I
of?
think you are, bro. It is not like that, bro. It's not like
The velvet gloves.
Oh man, like that would happen with Odell. Like $1 million watch and suede gloves. He's like, oh,
Suede gloves.
dang, I didn't know it was gonna
ruined.
rain today. He's like, I'm not playing with his gloves under his arms.
He's so mad.
Nah, dude. It's like it's leather. It's like, it's leather for like equipment gloves. And when they get wet, they become a little stickier. So
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
There's probably a
Yeah,
lot of people.
Language.
Nobody in my high school knew that. I like mentioned it to a couple kids, like the wide receiver that we never threw the ball anyway because we had Anthony Sherman on the team, so we would just run it every time.
Nice.
Yeah. We just run it every single time, but just in case we threw it, I like told the kid he had no idea that his gloves didn't work when the winter rain.
Dang, that is wild. So, are you expecting anything different, or is this changing your strategy as you approach this game?
So, I mean, the thing is, we were already kind of off Gabe Davis, but those are the guys that take the biggest hit. If you're unsure like what a guy's role is, because not everybody is like totally plugged in on the roles, look at the average depth of target. You can find those stats like for free on sites like Player Profiler, 33rd Team. It's available there. And the average depth of target is basically, for anybody that doesn't know out there, the distance that the ball travels in the air on the targets. Like it doesn't count catching it and running it after. So if I throw a screen to Deebo Samuel that's 2 yards downfield and he runs for 15, that's a 17-yard catch, but it's a 2 yards count towards A dot. Versus if I throw a 40-yard deep ball downfield to Brandon Ayuk, that's 40 yards of A dot. So a guy like Gabriel Davis, where he is a high A dot player, it hurts him in inclement weather, especially.
Meaning like he's typically downfield for those deep balls.
He's downfield for the deep balls, and those are the guys that get hurt the most. The guys that run the running backs, it doesn't really affect them as much, and the short passes, it doesn't affect them as much. So could be a good spot for Dawson Knox. Honestly, the Dolphins are a bottom 5 team versus tight ends. The short passes will be there, so he should be fine if you are planning to start him and hoping that he just has like his normal game. But guys like Gabe Davis and possibly to a certain degree Diggs might not be as effective, right? On the other side, the Dolphins are just going to be in huge trouble, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what their guys do.
They've never
And
seen snow.
They're doing their best to pretend like they have all week, right? With the shirts. They're like,
There's snow in Alabama. We know cold.
we like it cold. No, you don't, dude. We know you don't. Because
We set
earlier
our inside temperature to 72 degrees. We know cold.
earlier in the year, somebody found he's wearing the I wish it were colder shirt.
Yeah.
Somebody found it.
Daniel.
Somebody found a picture of him from earlier in the year, or one of the other players wearing that same shirt, except I wish it were hotter.
He's just got one for every.
Just for everybody. Yeah.
Maria, and you're saying Coop is making some interesting connections this AM. Yes, you are.
That was bad. Yeah, that was back when we were talking about. Now I forget, but that
You
comment,
said something. You said something.
that comment
I remember.
it made sense at the time. That comment.
Yeah, no, I totally get it now in context.
Speaking of weather, there's another team. So we're talking about the Dolphins going up there. There's another team that's going to be playing in the coldest game that they've played in 30 years, which will be the Los Angeles Rams. Both while they were in St. Louis and Los Angeles. The franchise itself. So the people they track how cold people will have all the weird stats. They track how cold and how warm the games are, like going back through history in St. Louis, in Los Angeles. The Rams have not. This is expected to be the coldest game that the Rams franchise has played in the last 30 years. They're going up to Green Bay, and it's supposed to be freezing on Monday night in Green Bay.
It's kind of a funny thought though, because like Matthew Stafford's probably played in colder games, right? Like I'm using him as an example. He's not playing this game, but
Right.
Yeah, like a franchise is just made up of players.
Exactly. Yeah.
And players don't all,
Right.
always-
Yeah, you're right. It is a weird way to do it because nobody from that team 30 years ago is on the team. I mean,
Right.
Tom Brady's the only dude that's been playing for 30 years. Right.
Like the team doesn't know how cold it is. The franchise doesn't care.
There's like one janitor that still works. for the
He's like,
team.
oh my god,
He's like,
it's
"Yeah,
so
man."
cold.
It hasn't been cold like this since 92. It was like,
He
will you
just
shut
looked
up?
up the stat.
Will you shut up and mop, Fred? Yeah, he heard on the radio. It's not that he actually feels the cold.
He's been
dude.
telling everybody that walks past him. Back in my day.
Everybody they bring him in the locker room and everyone gathers around and they're like,
Still
like,
so hold
Fred?
him up.
they're like, Fred, hold them up. They're like, Fred, tell everybody what they can expect in this cold game. You were the only one. You were the only one here last time it was actually cold.
Men, respect your elders.
Take a
Fred's
knee.
gonna tell you.
Take a knee, boys.
Take a knee, boys. Gather round.
It was 92. I had just cleaned up some boys' throw up from the hallway.
He threw up because it was so cold.
Still fresh, and it was still steaming. Yeah, but yeah,
It's like a Shawshank Redemption story.
so yeah, it's supposed to be cold.
Wait, what was the janitor's name?
Fred.
Fred is just
It's supposed to be 4 degrees for that game, which is pretty cold. It's supposed to be it's 19 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 mile an hour wind, 19 degrees. That's pretty cold though, I'll say.
Yeah, 19 degrees is very cold. That sucks. Tommy in here, he makes a great point. He said Baker is used to the cold. I could have just used Baker instead of Matthew Stafford. Yeah,
Easily.
very easily. Way more sense.
Get her bringing up ghosts in the halls. So that guy Swansea Sea Steaks. I played high school football with him, and that's what our coach
With Anthony Sherman.
We played with Anthony Sherman. Dude, fun fact on Swansea Sea Snake. So he was one of the biggest kids back like when we played like C team football. And we had so many kids that want to play football. This is like Pop Warner. There were 2 teams, right? And there's this one coach who was real good friends with Anthony Sherman's dad, and then this other coach. But the other coach got the first pick. So he took Sherman. The other team took Swansea Sea Snake. And because, they wanted to have the certain guy with his dad and coaching, they made a 1-for-1 trade. So Swansea Sea Snake.
You could trade and
apparently, and I'm sure it wasn't. Sorry, Skin, but I imagine something else had to get thrown in that pot. It was probably the 2nd and 3rd pick for Anthony Sherman. But I will say that that he's got that on his resume, dude. He was traded 1-for-1 for Anthony Sherman, Defensive Player of the Year. He says, I don't even think that was an award, but
Defensive Player of the Year.
He was a menace up the middle. Skins was a menace up the middle, and also. One more Swansea Sea Snake story. One time we were beating this Cape Cod town, Yarmouth, so badly. We're beating them so badly that
In football?
in football that there's a slaughter rule, right? Where like you have to
Yeah, like mercy rule. You're beaten by
mercy.
so much you end the game.
Well, they don't end the game. What they do is like what happened with our game is we were up against the slaughter rule. We intercepted a ball for a touchdown. And they came down and actually scored, but we were still up by the slaughter rule. So they scored a touchdown. We had to kick the ball back to them.
They scored a touchdown, then you had to kick it back to them because they were down.
So we scored and got the extra point. They scored and missed the extra point, meaning we were still winning by the slaughter rule. So they scored a touchdown. We had to kick the ball back to them. But
That's wild.
In that game, we were up by so big, so quick. We just started letting people play whatever position they want. And I handed the ball to Skinner, who only played defensive lineman in the backfield.
Who's Swansea Snakes?
Swansea Snake. He ran for a 35-yard touchdown and like stiff armed the kid into the dirt during the play. It was a wild game, dude. But anyway, enough reminiscing on that.
Enough reminiscing. Coop, with that win last night for the 49ers, they have now clinched the NFC West and at least one home.
They deserve it, man.
They deserve it. Yeah, they're a decently good team. Brock Purdy looks good.
Yeah, he does, man. He does. And Kyle Shanahan said he's the most poised rookie he's ever seen, and he looks poised out there, man. He doesn't. It's so. Because I was watching pretty closely. I'm like, let's see what's going on with this guy. And like, man, he's like, sometimes you watch these rookie quarterbacks and they're like, they're like checking their armbands and their headbands and making sure, like looking at the jumbotron. Like, dude, this guy was all business, man. He was all business, and he was throwing the ball quick. He wasn't holding on to it. He was trusting the plays. That's a big part of it. Like, fake the handoff, turn. He was throwing. He's
not overthinking it, which I think is one of the biggest things. It's like he's got control of the mental aspect of it, right? Like I was thinking the same thing last night, just watching. Like, man, if that's me, what am I thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is going through my head if I'm, as Mr. Irrelevant, thrust into this position to essentially, like, the entire 49ers playoff hopes rest on his shoulders.
Right. I think you can tell the biggest indicator of poise is, and this is what happened. People like to imagine what they think would happen if you were thrown into a game playing quarterback. You know what would happen? It would be intentional grounding every other play.
Every day.
You would just be panicking and just it would be either be an interception or intentional grounding. But I think that's, besides the interception, which is the obvious one, the number one indicator of a quarterback that is not comfortable and is not poised is the intentional grounding. And you can picture what it looks like, right? You just you throw it, you just don't know what to do, and you panic. You panic, throw it. It doesn't go past the line of scrimmage. You're not outside the tackle box. Like that's what a lack of poise looks like, and you don't see that from Brock, man. He's ready.
No, you did see. What I will point out is like you could tell that he was a bit new or green, right? Like he was really staring down some of his targets or some of his reads. He was he didn't look like he had been there a bunch before, but he didn't look like he was really overthinking it. He was really just trusting his arm, trusting the plays and system. And I think that's good enough.
There's a lot to be said for that. You know who looks like that too is Tua this year. Tua is willing to trust the plays, right? Because you see, and then on the flip side, you see a couple guys that don't trust the plays. Clearly, Zach Wilson, right? Like he does not like and Kyler Murray, probably the biggest example. He never throws it to the first read. He's always holding onto the ball. He's always trying to create something different that's outside of the playbook, right?
Right.
Which as an offensive coordinator must drive you nuts because you draw up these beautiful plays and then the quarterback is like, nah, I'm gonna make something happen. I'm gonna make some magic happen. It's like, how about you just run the plays, dude?
It's kind of an aside, but you think that they know, the offensive coordinators, that is, do you think they know when the camera goes live on them? Like they got that little camera in the corner up in their box. You think there's like a light that says, hey, you're live right now?
With the up in the box, I don't know. That's a good question because I don't think they don't like when you're, when you go to games, like my buddy has some pretty good seats where you sit fairly close and when the camera's on you. You know what I mean? Because you can see it comes across. It's like the one that zooms around like this, and you could see them stop, right? So in that case, and like when you're on the sideline, the veterans and stuff, they know where the cameras are. They know to look around. You make a bad play, you see them. They make eye contact with the camera. They know when they're up there. But there's definitely situations where newer players and newer offense coordinators don't know they're on camera.
Yeah,
because we've seen it. I mean, or sometimes these guys don't even care. Like the Bills guy,
the Bills guy just raged
bro,
through
he
everything.
did not care, dude. That dude was.
Well, they got to be recording the whole time. You know that's. I think we learned that from the Bills one is they always are recording.
That's probably what it is. It's probably just rolling at all times. So you just got to
Yeah.
assume that
There's always people.
You could get.
I wonder
caught.
what that's like, always having a camera on you.
I don't know, man.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We got some people in the chat. Albert in here said, "Good morning, everyone." Good morning, Albert. Good to see you, my friend.
Albert. Baby.
Joey said, "Purdy passes all the tests: eyes, smell, ACT, and SAT. Don't let Lance sniff the job."
Wow, dude.
That's pretty hot take.
I wonder what he got on those SATs.
Illmind Jedi in here. What up, Jedi? Good morning.
Jedi.
So do y'all think Purdy will be the starting QB, or are they going to go back to Trey Lance? They got to go back to Trey Lance.
Yeah.
They drafted Brock Purdy as the very last pick in the draft. They drafted Trey Lance. They traded up and gave up a ton to get Trey Lance.
Yeah, it would have to be a very serious Bledsoe Brady situation for that to happen. You know, but
and he doesn't look that good.
He's not Tom Brady. But Tom Brady, you know, people we've rewritten history. This could be a hot take for Patriots fans out there. Patriots fans, cover your ears. Swansea, you might need to cover your ears on this one. I'm a Patriots fan myself. But in reality, back then, when that happened, there's a very real chance that not only was Drew Bledsoe just as good at Tom Brady in the early years, he was realistically probably better. Like in the first, especially the first year and probably the second year as well. Drew Bledsoe was probably a better quarterback than Tom Brady. But you have to remember that it wasn't just about the quarterback. It wasn't just about Tom Brady versus Drew Bledsoe. It was Tom Brady and a 10-year, $100 million contract that Drew Bledsoe had. So when you really boil it down, Tom Brady, if you have a quarterback that's a little bit worse, but you have $100 million, you can go out and get Richard Seymour, Asante Samuel, go out and buy all these pieces, right? So it's not Tom Brady versus Drew Bledsoe. It's Tom Brady and like 5 other playmakers versus Drew Bledsoe. That's why the decision was made. But I think there's a little revisionist history that suggests Tom Brady came out and was just like a super megastar right from the rip, and that's not necessarily true.
Right. No, that's a really good point. And
might be slander. Might be slander in these parts, but I'm just saying, try to be realistic here.
Try to be realistic. What's the worst that a bunch of massholes can do to you, Coop? You know,
pretty bad stuff.
Last thing on Brock Purdy, I saw NFL Research tweet out Brock Purdy joins Aaron Rodgers as the only QB since at least 1950 to have a passer rating of 115 plus in each of their first 2 career starts.
Is that good?
That good. Him and Aaron, he is Aaron Rodgers, I guess.
He's Aaron Rodgers, dude. It's that easy. I mean, when you have the best defense in the league and you have the best offensive tackle in the league and the best running back in the league and the best defense and the best defense and the best fullback and, you know, and a tight end that has an argument for being the best two-way tight end, maybe not the best pass catching, but the best two-way tight end, like probably pretty easy to look good, you know?
Right.
Like all those dudes have a legitimate argument that they are the best. I mean, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and Kyle Juszczyk are probably almost certainly the best at their position. If not top 3. So.
Oh yeah, I mean Kyle Juszczyk. I feel like the bar is pretty low on that one.
Yeah,
but he is good. He is good.
He's
just not much competition.
He's the top fullback out of 5.
Yeah,
the 5 teams that use him.
Coop, I saw the story yesterday that NFL is no longer allowing the Raiders to use the holder on kickoffs to place the football on top of the tee. Have you been following the story?
Oh, I noticed they were doing that, and it's it's kind of like an unwritten rule, right? That you're allowed to do it when it's windy.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of or did they have a tee that was it a person that would go over and hold it, or was it like a special tee?
They had a holder go over and hold it as the normal tee, but they were instead of placing it in the tee, they were placing it on top of the tee and having the holder hold it. And Josh McDaniels got clarification from the league to say, hey, like this is within the rules, right? And NFL originally said, yes, this is within the rules. Because the reason, and Josh McDaniels clarified this in his press conference, the reason they were doing it is because they were able to get more hang time on the ball. Yeah. By placing it a little bit higher, their kicker was able to get under it a little bit more, get some more hang time. And so Josh McDaniel goes out and starts telling everybody this, and he tries to get clarification from the league. The league originally says, yeah, no, this is legal. But then they backtracked, and now they're saying, no, you can't do it for those purposes. You can only do it if it's windy.
That's cheating. They probably decided you can't do it because it was probably leading to more kickoffs returns, and they don't want returns. They don't.
No, they're so susceptible to injury on kickoff returns.
So he figured out a cheat code to kick it higher so that you could kick it high and not have it come down in the end zone, but give your guys enough time to get down there. They probably, had a pretty large percentage. They probably had a good number of plays where they were tackling the guy inside the 25-yard line, where it made a lot of sense to do that. And the league was like, nah, we don't want that.
Yeah. Nice try, Raiders. Nice try.
Nice try, Tommy, you cheater. You guys like how a Patriots fan is accusing the Raiders of cheating. Look, dude, the tuck rule, it was in the rule book. First of all, that particular one, the Patriots couldn't
Don't engage, Coop. Don't engage.
The Patriots couldn't have done that on purpose.
You don't need to do it, Coop.
I'll go in on you.
It's just Tommy. We believe you.
The rules now would, based on the current rules, that would be a fumble. Based on the rules at the time, it was not. All right. Patriots, champions of the world.
Maria said, forgot to tell you guys today, it is that's my fault.
Winter workout gear.
I'm going to tell you right now, I can't wear winter anything inside because I run hot.
I'm trying to think of what I have for winter workout gear. Don't have much.
You have a headband?
Oh, I have like Under Armour.
Do you have like those earmuffs that go around the back of your head?
No, but I can just wear these like this.
Oh yeah, perfect. Well, then how do you do your main voice?
Mouse style.
That's actually pretty good.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Princess Leia. Oh, I can't get it.
So versatile.
Bane. I was born in the darkness.
Can you hear me, Coop?
Nope. No, what did you say about me?
I said, can you hear me, Coop? And you were like, nope.
Now I can. I could hear you a little bit clearly.
Oh, scared me a little bit.
Yeah. So let's get back to some news. I have an interesting one here, which is funny because we were just kind of talking yesterday about Sean Payton coming back to coach, right? On this show. Show every morning, 7 to 10 a.m. on the Better Sports Network.
Smooth. Coop in the hole.
But yeah, we were talking about Sean Payton coming back. Another good friend of Sean Payton got a coaching job. Did you see that, JL?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees will be the interim assistant coach at Purdue. So talking about it doesn't get more of a trial run than being the interim assistant.
Interim assistant.
They're just like, yeah.
That's a lot of qualifiers before coach. That's all I'm saying.
They were basically like, why don't you just come hang out for a little bit? Yeah. And they're like, what are you going to call me?
Basically the equivalent of your job at Modell's.
Exactly.
is what Drew Brees got here.
Trying not to get in trouble.
They ask him what he does. He's like, just hang around.
Just hanging. Yeah. But I mean, now I will say that if you go back and watch like Hard Knocks, Dan Campbell talks about how he got his start, and he said that I think it was Sean Payton because he used to play for the Saints, or no, it was the Dolphins coach. It was Bill Parcells maybe. That was like, why don't you just come hang out? Like literally, he's like, they just were like, why don't you come hang around and help us out a little bit, and see how you feel. And then he went and hung out for training camp, and they signed him. They gave him a job to stay with the team through the season. I forget what his original role was. It was something like, assistant strength coach or something, just like, nah, you know what I mean? Just like, we're going to pay you to keep you around for the season. But from there, he just kept moving up into being tight. Now he's a tight end coach. Now he's doing this, right? Until he moved up.
This is Drew Brees?
No, this is Dan Campbell. This is
Dan Campbell.
So he said
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's if you check out Hard Knocks, he has a good rundown of like how it happened. And they actually, the coolest part is they have pictures of him each stage. And it's kind of cool to see like the old NFL like merch, you know what I mean? Because like when he was with the Dolphins and it was Bill Parcells, it was like some of that old Dolphins merch. Yeah, it's a little, but then you see him move over and he's wearing like the visor with the Saints, right? So it's like, but you see that it really was like that, where he was like, I'm interested, I want to get into this. And Parcells was like, why don't you just come see if you like it? You know what I mean? So kind of cool how that snowballs, where some people probably go and hang out for a bit and then they're like, not for me. So I feel like Steve Smith was hanging around the Panthers for a while, and then he was like, I'm just going to go do broadcasting.
Yeah.
So, but kind of cool that you can get in there and get in that way, just kind of work your way up the ladder.
Secretly, I have a confession, Coop.
I'm ready.
It kind of sucks that the Baltimore Ravens don't have like that long of a history, because we don't really get like some of those cool color schemes or like this historical things, like you talk about this, the Dolphins, you know, the old Dolphins gear. It's like, dang, that's so cool. The old Patriots gear, like I look at, I'm like, dang,
Yeah,
it's
we
so
got
sweet.
Patriots got some bad uniforms, but they have some of the old ones are cool. You know?
You're gonna have bad ones. I mean, yeah, when you go back that far, there's way more bad decisions than good decisions. But
Yeah,
man, some, you know, it hits, and that history is nice. You know, it's nice to have some
having
history. It
that.
kind of
Yeah.
sucks having a newer team.
I mean, you can. So, do the Titans ever wear the Oilers stuff? I don't think they do. What sucks is that you guys,
No.
the Colts became another team, so it's not. You can't even claim that.
They got moved, stolen in the night.
Cowards, dude. But you know, if the Colts hadn't become the, you know, then you could have pulled it off.
I do have a Baltimore Colts pennant right here. It's real old. It's nice.
Yeah, there you go. That's something.
Maybe I'll show it after the break.
Yeah, get it going, dude.
Albert in here said, "Is Lockett out for the rest of the season?" Yes. I was going to bring up here is Tyler Lockett. He diagnosed a broken right index finger. So he's in doubt to play. The latest we have is that he is in doubt to play the last 3 games of the regular season. Either way, I think this is going to affect his performance. And I don't think I'm playing Lockett in fantasy going forward next 3 weeks, which sucks because I have him on some playoff teams.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. The biggest indicator usually with those is whether they have surgery or not. So just keep an eye on that for the next couple of days. If he has surgery, then most cases you're done. There are some psychos that have played after having surgery on their hands. Like DeMarco Murray didn't miss a game. He was just like, fix it. And then he went out there with like a club and played that one like monster season he had. Might have been 2014 or 16. They literally did surgery on his hand and he didn't miss a game. And then after they ran him to the ground that season, they were just like, we're not paying you. And they let him walk. So kind of whack move by Jerry Jones there.
This is for DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray was on the last year of his contract. And this is like the biggest example prior to Todd Gurley, the biggest example of a player just be run into the ground and then discarded. So DeMarco Murray was on the last year of his contract. He was 26 years old, 392 carries and 64 targets. So they looked at this guy's
392 divided by what, 16
at the time.
24.5 carries a game. That's crazy.
Yeah. And well, dude, do 392 because they also threw him 60 something target. They threw him 64 targets, dude. So they looked his way like 450 times. And that's just in the regular season. They made the playoffs that year, right? And then the very next year, they were just like, nah, we're not going to pay you. And he went to the Eagles and Titans. He was never the same because they really ran him to the ground. So that's an example. That's one of the reasons as fantasy analysts, sometimes we say like, oh, they're not going to pay this guy and they're just going to, use him here and then let him walk. Josh Jacobs could be an example, to be honest. Like they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They've given him the ball a million times, and then they might just say, thank you. See you later.
That's what Craig said in the chat. He said, what the Raiders are doing to Jacobs this year is called DeMarco Murray.
Craig, mind meld this morning, dude. Craig's got his hog cap on this morning. The Hogs are out this morning.
The Hogs are out.
Simon ain't here. Hogs are out and about.
Cooping the hog.
Yip skiddle-to-doo.
Yep, skidly-doo. Yeah. Now, this is not football related, Coop. I just saw this morning, and I don't know how to process it yet. So this is really, I guess we're watching trauma in real time. But apparently, Ash Ketchum is canonically dead.
What?
They're killing off Ash Ketchum.
That's my quarterback.
I know. We were just talking about him this week. I wake up, I open up Twitter, I see Ash Ketchum's trending, and I'm like, oh no. This means that he's either dead or that people think he's dead. And it's just a hoax.
Heck?
Apparently, one of the tweets I think that explains it well says a special 11-episode series called Pocket Monsters, aim to be a Pokemon master, will start airing on January 13th, 2023. All the friends that Ash has met during his travels, such as Misty and Brock, will also appear. Will be the last chapter in Ash's journey.
What the heck? And then they're gonna bring in a
The heck does that mean?
new trainer? Dude, he's not gonna be dead.
Will be
bro.
the last chapter in Ash's journey. That sounds like something you say like when someone's going to a hospice.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, dude. That doesn't sound good for
That's
Mr.
so
Ketchum.
vague. The
Hmm.
last chapter.
Craig says Coop didn't give Ash an offensive line. Killed in a game.
Killed in the game.
Well, the offensive line, he's a 10-year-old kid. So for anyone just tuning in, we drafted the other day video game characters. I picked Ash Ketchum as my quarterback because he has a laser rocket arm, but he's still also only 10. So I had,
That's the downside there.
I had to draft. So I had to draft. Well, that's why I drafted Spyro as my wide receiver because he can fly, you know. So Ash doesn't necessarily have to see over the line to throw it to Spyro. But yeah, well, he would draft pretty small linemen just so he could see over those guys. And yeah, the pass rush is pretty rough. We should have drafted defensive ends.
We
So
should have.
it probably still would have been Bowser and Donkey Kong.
Probably would have. Yeah, I feel like if we had just done maybe like defensive end, we could have gotten deep with this. We could have gone IDP. That would have been fun. Maybe we'll do a follow up one.
Yeah, I can't. I'm too. You know who I would take for cornerback would be Swiper from
No swiping.
Yeah, because he's just
It's pretty good.
He could swipe one.
He definitely could swipe one.
This
Expert at
Dora
punching things out.
this Dora the Explorer video games, right?
But then all you have to do is say swiper no swiping 3 times and he stops. The lineman would just and immediately just make him
Pretty short career.
useless.
for
Yeah,
Swiper.
pretty short career once they figure out his tail.
Damn. Yeah, probably good that I didn't draft him then.
Coop, Keith got this story. This is I didn't even know what to think about this. Council covers wall with pee paint, giving drinkers nasty splashback on night out.
So
Apparently, the city.
if you go to like pee on a building, like say you like get out of the bar and you have nowhere to pee and you just pee on the building, what happens?
It gets shot back at you somehow.
What? Or dude,
It's a water repellent layer, so urine and other liquid bounces back onto the perpetrator, leaving them soaked.
wow, dude, gross.
Instant karma.
As I learned in Europe, we were in London, and in a lot of places, you have to pay to use the restroom. It's like 25 cents or whatever crazy monopoly money they use over there. But they're like
Crazy monopoly money.
some places it's like $1. They're like, you need to pay $1 if you wanna lay one down, dude. Right.
An American dollar?
I mean, the euro and the dollar are actually very close. So if it is a euro or a pound or a quid or whatever they got going on over there, yeah, it was about that, dude. So if you needed to say you're in London and you needed to meet with the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge.
Why else would you be in London? Cornelius Fudge is dead, bro. I have bad news for you.
Well, I'm saying that. Well, it was a play on words there. If you have to go meet Cornelius Fudge. You know what I'm saying?
Woo.
So when you have to go down in the underground and meet with Cornelius Fudge, it costs you $1, dude, which is insane.
Costs you $1, a quid, isn't it?
Quid, yeah. You really have to go. You're saving them up. So, and now the only other option was peeing on the wall. Now that's off the table.
That's off the table. Tommy said, "Who pees on a wall?"
It's all
Apparently Europeans.
Tommy, when you're over there, when you're European, bro, it's costing you.
European.
When European, it's
European.
Yeah. So honestly, in my opinion, this is just a big money grab by big corporate money grab by Big Bathroom.
Big Bathroom, yeah.
I won't stand for it.
This is a money grab.
Yeah, I won't.
Did not expect that one.
No.
And we got Craig in the chat said Blue from Blue's Clues would be a terrible head coach. Doesn't tell you the plays or where the game is, just hints. hope you figure it out in time. Basically, Russell Wilson.
I mean, that's kind of like what. So now Tom Brady. We talked about it on Bring Your Own Breakfast yesterday. We were like, Tom Brady. He's been changing the plays, right? Tom Brady came out to defend himself, and he was like, "The coaches told us, like, the problems you're having, it's on you to fix them." So he kind of did go Blue's Clues on them. He was like, "Hey, you guys suck. You need to fix it." Right?
Yeah, you do it.
Tom Brady took that as, "I'll just change all the plays." So
right. This is my team now. I am the captain.
I am the captain now. Brock Purdy was like, "I'm the Tom Brady now."
I am the Tom Brady. Listen, coming up, we got some Week 15 preview. We're gonna get into the games this coming up weekend. Talk about them from fantasy perspective. Maybe recap this Thursday night football game we had last night. We got some fantasy detective with Vinny, Iyer, and then Tim will be joining us for some hypothetically and holiday characters battle royale. You were listening to Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, aka Coop and the Hogs.
Ooh.
Better Sports Network.
With Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got hurt.
Body didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true. I
to
just
get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think that he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that. All those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man.
Yeah.
So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15. To his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
No.
Dude, that's the problem, because you and me are the two ones that accidentally leave the mute on, and Simon's usually the one to pick us up.
Right.
Should we just do a 15-minute silent segment where people try and guess what we're trying to say?
Yeah, we just talk the whole time, but we're both muted.
Just see people in the when they lip readers in the chat that could try and translate.
They're all lip readers.
We're going to play a new game, lip read silent guy, where
read silent guy.
where we have a conversation.
We would name it that too.
Figure out what we're talking about. It does sound like I used the normal naming mechanisms.
Yeah. Well, welcome back in. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Coop is here. I'm here. It's Coop and the Hogs. That's what that means. No Simon.
Right. No Simon, dude. Dad ain't home. That means we party. Parents just don't understand. And you can picture Keith right now. He's behind the glass. He's like, those darn kids, you gotta stick to the show sheet. It's supposed to be a show sheet.
Could have had a show if it wasn't for you meddling hogs.
We could have had a show. We could have been the big time.
Could have been great.
Well, you're gonna have
Instead,
to
what are you?
You're gonna have to eat it, Keith, because
eat it, Keith. You're fired.
You're fired. This is
You're
Coop
fired.
and the Hogs, baby.
Coop and the Hogs.
Oh yeah.
Tommy said, "Line, what is up, everybody? What's up?"
Oh yeah, he was reading our lips. That was actually correct. That's what
Pretty good.
That's what I said.
It's pretty good. We got Albert in the chat said, "Coop, where would you rank Goddard this week if he plays?"
Pretty conveniently for you, Albert, and for everyone at home, I put out my tight end rankings, preliminary tight end rankings yesterday. Had to get them out before the Thursday game because we had relevant guys in the game, not so much Fant and Disley, but George Kittle. I had Kittle ranked as a top 5 tight end. I hope he started him because he is awesome. But I do have these rankings based on Goddard playing. So these are based on the assumption that he plays. I have him ranked as a tight end 1, but I have him ranked at tight end 11. And the reason being it's twofold. One, we don't know if he's going to play the full game. He says he's trending in the right direction. That doesn't always mean that he's going to play 90% of the snaps. Like he could go out and play 40% of the snaps. He could play, David Njoku, his first game back the first time around, played like 19 snaps. So that's in the range of outcomes. Also, the Bears have been pretty good against the tight ends. They haven't really played that amazing of tight ends, and they are missing Eddie Jackson, but still, it's not a plus matchup. So for me, I'm starting Kelsey over Mark Andrews, TJ Hockenson against Indy. I'll start Dalton Schultz against Jacksonville, obviously Kittle versus Seattle. So it's like right there, he's outside of the top 5 or so.
What about Chig Okonkwo?
So Chig is so I have there's a group of guys that I really like that I have after Goddard because he's Dallas Goedert. So like I'm not starting Dulcich over him. I'm not starting Ingram. I'm not starting Cole Kmet. I'm not starting Chig. Although I mean I kind of want to start Dulcich against Arizona, but Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert. I think I might. Come Sunday, I'm gonna update these Sunday mornings. So keep an eye on that. But like, you got to start Freiermuth. You got to start Njoku. So there's just a number of guys I gotta put ahead of Dallas Goedert.
The latest we have from Goddard is he wouldn't confirm Wednesday that he's gonna play, right? But he is taking part in practice, so it's looking likely that he'll play this week. It's not.
I
want to see a little bit more. I think before I would go.
I do have Ingram and Cole. I do have Ingram and Cole Kmet ahead, but I have him ahead of Chig because Chig himself only plays about 50% of the snaps, right? So I'd rather have 50% of Goddard than 50% of Chig. I know it's exciting, the Chig Okonkwo, but there's a downside to that. I mean, he technically this past week, Austin Hooper caught more he got just as many targets and had more yards. Austin Hooper is not going away. He's still right there. So, but yes.
Craig says Coop with the Disley diss out of nowhere. The Disley diss.
The Disley diss. If one of Disley or just like Hooper and Chig, if one of Disley or Noah Fant would go away, the other one would be viable immediately, especially with Tyler Lockett banged up. But the problem is they split the snaps down the middle. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, Disley ran more routes than Noah Fant, even though Fant's been more productive. So it's so hard when teams split like that. It's really annoying for fantasy, I will say.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, we're going to get into our Week 15 preview. As we do that, we're going to start off here with the first game of Week 15, which played last night, the 49ers against the Seahawks. The 49ers did pull out a win here, 21-13. Coop, what stood out to you from this game? What sort of narratives or storylines, stat lines here?
I mean, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but
we did. Brock Purdy.
Yeah, like where the 49ers, they're on autopilot right now, considering how good the defense is. As long as the major pieces stay in place, namely Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa. Those guys, if one of those guys were to go down, this team would now all of a sudden you have to lean too hard on the quarterback. You have to lean too hard on the offense. Those guys are mega superstar caliber players. If those guys were to go down, then it would be dicey. But for the time being, they're on cruise control, man. And then
they looked good. They looked fantastic last night. That defense,
for real. And the Seahawks, they're probably not. To me, they're probably not a playoff team. And they, they still can be happy about rooting against the Broncos and rooting to get a good pick. But, that team clearly has holes that they need to be replaced. But you see how fragile this game is. One big part of the game that stood out to me is you see how fragile it is when there was that pass that hit Diggs right in the chest, right, for the Seahawks, and he dropped it, right? Then then they punt the ball, and the field position changes. Had he picked that pass off, they would have got the ball on the 49ers like 35, 40-yard line. Instead, punt goes all the way down. Very next play, the Kenneth Walker fumbles, and now all of a sudden the Seahawks have the ball with 40 seconds left, ready to go down and score, which they do, and then they get the ball at half. It's the little things like that that can be monster swings, because it looked like the Seahawks were going to go down and at least, if the Seahawks picked that pass off, they were going to get points going into the half. Instead, it flipped completely. The 49ers got points. That moment in the game, massive change in the game. And
even towards the end, I mean, if the Seahawks defense were able to stop the 49ers on a couple of those last drives, like 2 drives, we could have had a very close game. We could have seen an overtime game here.
Right. It's the little things, man. It's the little and
parity in the NFL.
Right. Like anybody can win these games, but it's the better team wins out most time. That's what we saw yesterday.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey did his thing, 26 carries, 108 yards, touchdown, beast. 28.8 fantasy points, just a beast. And he looks it, man. It's just unreal to watch. I feel like him and Derrick Henry, I watch him just like it's different. Right. Totally different. Why? Like I don't see that anybody else can do that.
The announcer makes such a good point yesterday on made a great point on McCaffrey that he has the finesse, but he can also run you over, and he can also get like you grab him, he can still get those extra 2-3 yards. That's a big difference, because there's certain guys that have the shake and bake like a Raheem Mostert, but they're not going to run you over. They're not going to get that 1 yard. And then there's other guys that are just plotters. Like I love Gus Edwards, but Gus Edwards doesn't have a whole lot of razzle dazzle. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's certain guy, he has it all, and Derrick Henry has it all too. So
that's him and Derrick Henry, when they start getting their momentum up, it's wild. It's wild to see. Like it's just I think that's what it is, honestly. Because I was thinking the same thing watching Derrick Henry a couple weeks ago. It's just like, oh my God, he's going. Like I wouldn't want to stop him.
No, you can't. And that oftentimes is the difference between a 30-yard run and a 70-yard run.
Yeah.
Like that's why you use Pollard and Zeke, because Zeke, some plays where Zeke would be tackled for a 25-yard gain, that's a 70-yard touchdown for Tony Pollard.
Right. Kenneth Walker, we saw him not be limited anyway. 12 carries, 47 yards, 11.9 fantasy points. They didn't ease him back. Travis Homer was the next closest running back here on this team that he got 1 carry a whole game.
Kenneth Walker's in. It's wheels up.
Yeah. And any concerns about Kenneth Walker, they're gone, right?
Yeah.
Next couple weeks you're playing him.
You're good to go. And for me, the only other thing that is fantasy relevant is we did get a bit of an answer here. Not sure how much it'll matter, but we were talking about Ray McLeod versus Juwan Jennings. Ray played more snaps in the game where Tebow got hurt, but this game, Juwan Jennings came out, played 84% of the snaps. Ray played 42%. So if you're going to take a DFS stab on one of those guys, it's Juwan Jennings. And he came out, he got, 5 targets? So not too bad.
Yeah, 5 targets, 3 receptions.
Probably going to be a deep league to go with that guy, but DFS for sure. That's 84% of the snaps. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, that's solid. Ray McLeod, I love him. He's not fantasy relevant.
Yeah. Great.
I do love him.
Great return man. He's a very valuable real life football player because he can return kicks and punts, right? Not everybody, some guys can just return kicks, some guys just return punts. He can do both. So he's always going to be a valuable asset, right?
Yeah. And he fought, I just love him too because I followed his story all the way. Obviously, he's a Clemson player. Yeah. He has fought hard for the job he has. So, he's a hard worker. He's put a lot in. It's a good story. Definitely a good feel-good story. Yeah.
Well,
Ray McLeod.
That's at the end. You see it on Hard Knocks every year. At the end of that depth chart, there's a lot of guys that are equally talented, and it's about who's going to be toughest, who's going to be smartest, who's going to pay attention to what the coaches are saying. So at the end of the depth chart, there are scrappers. There are guys that fight.
Yeah, and to stay there, to live there, man.
Yeah, exactly. And it's then you look at some guys that are supremely talented. if they were in that situation, some of those guys don't have the fight to stick there. Like some of these guys that like whine, like maybe Elijah Moore, even at times Randy Moss, his attitude was terrible. And if he was on a bubble type player with that attitude, no chance. You know what I mean? So the at the end of a lot of these depth shots, they're scrappers, killers that play. Then they play for a long time because they're willing to do their job.
Yeah, they figured out what works. Really, what makes them valuable.
Matthew Slater has a lot more money than a lot of more talented players because he's played a long time. He's hit a lot of Pro Bowl incentives. You know what I mean? It's sometimes longevity is more important than being a flash in the pan.
Right. Now it's a great point. Albert said, "Do you guys think Damian Harris plays this week? You think Coop is our resident Patriots boy?"
Yeah, the rumors have been swirling a little bit that he might play, but until he gets a full practice in, I'm not interested in utilizing him. Today's the day. If he practices in full today, then he needs to be added. But if he doesn't practice in full today, then I don't know. He's got a limited practice in yesterday. Ramondre Stevenson's out. He didn't practice yesterday at all. I don't think he's going to play. So if Damian Harris does play, though, he's going to be the RB1 on that team, and he's good. So if he gets a full practice in today, I'm willing to slot him into lineups over a lot of guys. Honestly, like I'm trying to figure out where I draw that line, but like I might slot in Damian Harris over any of the Lions running backs.
Really?
I mean,
if it's just him,
they all played like 20 snaps, dude. Pierre Strong's not like if Damian Harris is healthy, like just imagine Damian Harris wasn't hurt at all. Where would you rank him? If he was just fully healthy and Ramondre Stevenson was out, he'd definitely easily be an RB2.
Yeah. I think he's been that most of his career when he's been the main guy. I know Ramondre Stevenson there. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like
Las Vegas Raiders, it's not a tough matchup.
The Lions get the Jets, which is a good matchup. And which is a bad matchup for them. The Jets are a good defense. Yeah, the Jets are a good defense. And like the Lions offense played like 60-something snaps, and all three of the running backs played like 20 of them. I hate that.
Assuming Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson are both out this week. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the week. Has your opinion changed at all? Is it still Pierre Strong, the guy that you are expecting to be the main fantasy pickup here?
Yeah, Pierre Strong would be the guy, but it's not
over Kevin Harris.
Yeah, the problem there is that it's not. We don't know for sure what they're going to do. So in that case, I probably would start the Lions because there's a chance that Kevin Harris ends up being the guy over Pierre Strong. The reasons I'm starting Pierre Strong of those two guys are twofold. One is that not only was Pierre Strong drafted ahead of Kevin Harris, but they actually released Kevin Harris. People don't realize that he was drafted as a 6th-round pick. When they cut down their team to 53 spots, they cut Kevin Harris. Nobody picked him up. They added him to the practice squad, and then they elevated him back up. So in terms of, unless he's done something drastically amazing over the last few weeks, Pierre Strong was already so far ahead of him on the depth chart that Kevin Harris was expendable, right? So for me, I look at it and say, has he really somehow gone from being expendable to now being better than this other player? The other part of it is that if they are going to split the snaps evenly, I want the guy that's capable of breaking monster touchdowns. And it doesn't get much faster than Pierre Strong. He ran like a 4.37. Like we're talking 95th percentile speed. We're talking like Raheem Mostert speed here. So this is a guy that if they're both going to get 10 carries, Pierre Strong is going to be the one that busts the huge play. So
right.
Yeah, for me, it's Strong over Harris.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would go Strong as well over Harris. Let's get into our first preview here. First preview matchup. Coop. The Colts are playing the Vikings this Saturday. So make sure your lineups are set ahead of Sunday. There are NFL games on Saturday. You don't want to miss that. So the first game, kickoff 1 p.m. on Saturday. It is the Colts versus the Vikings. The Colts are Colts are dogs in this game by 3.5 points. The Vegas has the total set at 47.5. Coop, what are you looking for in this game?
Let me ask you: are you surprised by this line at all? I'm a little bit surprised. The
3.5.
The Vikings seem to be disrespected by Vegas pretty often. They're 10-3 going against a 4-8 team. And when you're the home team,
Hey, 4-8-1 team.
I'm sorry, 4.5. They have 4.5.
Put some respect on their name.
Hey,
Jeff Saturday.
fair. Sorry. 4.5. Jeff Saturday was not there
He
for
said
this.
4.5.
4.5 wins. Jeff Saturday was not there for the tie. By the way, that was the first game of the year against the Texans. So let's not give that half win to Jeff Saturday. Let's not get crazy with that. You know, he was wasn't even part of the organization really. So then you got the Vikings, and they say that. What do they say when you're the home team? You get 3 points, right? If this is so Vegas is saying if this was if this was played at a neutral stadium, it would be a pick'em between these two teams.
A slight advantage, right? A half-point advantage to
Minnesota. I'm disrespecting the halves on this one, huh? That's the second time I've done it. The third time I've done it, I do it, I'll be in trouble. But yeah, slight advantage.
I think you're right. I mean, that is a surprising line. I think the Vikings are a much better team than the Colts, and it doesn't seem like Vegas agrees. I don't know if that's the defense. The Colts defense have come on a little bit later here in the season. Jeff Saturday has been putting this team together better than Frank Reich has. I don't know. I don't know what they know that we don't know about this.
Yeah, it's very strange. The thing is, most times Vegas turns out to be right. Like, I've been doing this long enough to sit here and that I'm done sitting here saying that it's an absolute smash. Like, there's no question the Vikings are the better team, and Vegas usually knows a little something. I think in this case, they know that the Vikings pass defense is absolutely atrocious, man. Like, brutal. Like, we're talking, they let up 380 yards to Mac Jones. Then they let up 360 yards to Mike White. And then they let Jared Goff come to town and throw 3 touchdowns last week, right? And Goff could have thrown for more yards if the Vikings were better. So I think they were looking at it and saying, hey, you know what? Matt Ryan still got something left in the tank. Makes me pretty interested in Michael Pittman. I have Michael Pittman as a top 10 wide receiver this week and a must-start play. In real redraft leagues, if you have Michael Pittman, just don't – Sunday morning, don't be asking me no Michael Pittman starter sit questions.
Michael Pittman starter
I don't want to hear them Michael Pittman starter sits. You started Michael Pittman this week.
Must start.
I mean, must start, man. Must start unless you have 4 top 10 wide receivers and an awesome flex play. I don't see how you're gonna not start Michael Pittman against the Vikings, man. Because the Vikings are
battle against of the Mikes here. Mike Williams, Michael Pittman, or Mike Evans.
I have Michael Pittman ahead of all those guys.
All those guys, I'm taking Mike Williams over Michael Pittman in that case, but that's fair. They're close enough.
Nah. I don't like it. I have Mike Williams pretty high, but I don't know.
Mike Williams is Tennessee.
Yeah, that's fine.
Their pass defense is not good.
They have that team that Mike Williams is on also has Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. I mean, Austin Eckler leads the team in receptions. So I should say Austin Eckler's name first. Austin Eckler, the leading pass catcher on the team. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, and Josh Palmer.
Michael Pittman's got Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce, Ashton Doolin, Mo Alley Cox,
Jelani Woods, sweet Jelani,
Kyle Granson. Jelani Woods ain't on that team.
Yeah, he is. He's on the Colts.
He's on the Bears.
Jelani Woods is on the Colts. Yeah, no, he's on the Colts. They got all.
You're
that's
right.
The island of misfit tight ends.
Why am I thinking he's on the Bears?
I don't know. Cole Kmet plays
every
tight end snap.
That's tricky.
Jelani Woods. Has any player gone back in the bottle faster than Jelani Woods after that breakout game?
Fast.
He came out at 9 targets, caught 8 of them and a touchdown. And we were like
64% snap share to 21 the next week.
21. Yeah. Kylan Granson was out for that big game. Now he's back. They like Kylan Granson, even though he's not doing a whole lot.
So Michael Pittman, you're loading up.
On Michael Pittman.
Any of these other Colts players that like Paris Campbell, are you tempted by?
In DFS,
okay.
Right? Like, so if I'm stacking that game, which maybe we should do a DraftKings lineup later if we're feeling it, right? Maybe mix one in.
Yeah, maybe
we'll mix one in. But yeah, but actually, nah. Yeah, probably not.
Actually, nah.
Actually, nah. I mean, because then you have to start Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman, and Paris Campbell. That just feels like you're setting yourself up for the big sad.
Nick DiNuccio has a question for Coop. Michael Pittman or never mind.
Yeah, that's good.
That got me.
I'm watching you,
That got
Nick.
me.
I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Now, Michael Pittman's a smash spot this week, right?
Oh,
Just
never mind.
Justin Jefferson also a smash. You know, out of this game, Adam Thielen could also be interesting. If Stephon Gilmore is covering Justin Jefferson, ball's got to go somewhere else, right?
Yeah. What about TJ Hockenson? I think he's probably the last player. You're starting your Dalvin Cook. It's not really much conversation to have there. TJ Hockenson, I think, is the last player who might be on the decision block for a lot of people. Are you confident starting TJ Hockenson this week?
I have him ranked at tight end 2 this week.
Ooh, so pretty confident.
Pretty confident. Just because, Schultz, it's like you talk about the guys that are at the top, and obviously George Kittle, you could rank him. He could have been ranked high. He did really well. I ranked 5. But how many guys would you consider over Hockenson? Obviously, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews.
I can't put him over Hawk this week. There's too much uncertainty. Yeah,
too much uncertainty. The Cleveland is quietly a top 5 team versus tight end. Tyler Huntley is all wonky. So I don't know. I can't put him at Dalton Schultz. You could consider, but again, we've seen Dalton Schultz just 2 weeks ago block on 10 pass plays versus Giants. I don't like that. And they do have Michael Gallup. They have CeeDee Lamb. Schultz, I could see an argument for, right? Not a bad matchup for him as well. He's got the Jaguars. So Schultz, I could see the argument, but there's not many other guys you can make an argument for. Is there anybody else that you think, not that you rank him ahead, Jail, but you think maybe there's an argument for it?
Ahead of TJ Hockenson?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that there is. And maybe in Njoku, but I'm not making that argument. I'd rather start Hockenson. Yeah. And then you're starting to get into the Dulcich, Freiermuth category, Evan Ingram, all those guys, and no, they're in a separate tier.
Then you're getting too deep. Yeah, so it's like maybe an argument could be made for David Njoku, right? Maybe just because he played not. We were worried about the first time he got hurt, he played like 19 snaps. This time he came back from injury, played 96% of the snaps, 9 targets. So I'm pretty high on Njoku this week too, but Hawk is locked in, man. He's locked.
Hawk is locked.
Lock 'em, robots.
Lock 'em, drop 'em. Don't drop 'em, please.
Hawk 'em,
Scott Fish said,
drop 'em.
Scott Fish said Kyle Granson was sick that game.
That's right.
Yeah, he was. So this is sick, bro.
He was sick, bro.
He was sick, bro. And then Greg said, do you ever prefer less Ali Cox?
Nah, dude.
Never.
You can't because even last week, if I'm remembering correctly, and I believe I am, Kylan Granson ran 22 routes. Jelani Woods ran 12. Mo Ali Cox only ran 10. So even though Mo plays a good chunk of snaps, they're mostly blocking snaps. He's the new Jack Doyle. Congratulations.
What an honor. Let's move on to our next game here, Coop. We got Baltimore Ravens going up against the Cleveland Browns here at 4:30 on Saturday. Vegas has the Ravens as 3-point underdogs in this game. And the total is set at 38.
Well, it's up a point from yesterday. It was at 37.5 yesterday. Maybe the Tyler Huntley news.
I have a point.
Yeah, that's a full one. That's a full point. It's 37.5. Now we're at 38.5.
Just 38.
I got 38.5 on.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Covers.
Just looking at different sources.
Yeah. But so that one's trending up a little bit. But still, 38.5 is gonna be no matter even if it moves up a point or another point, it's going to be one of the lowest scoring games this week based on what the experts are telling us. So this one, you got to be careful with who you're starting. I already said Njoku I'm starting. It's a decent matchup. He's in a good spot. Amari Cooper's nicked up, JL. So let's say Amari Cooper gets a full practice in today. What's your confidence level on him for this week against your Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, he is nicked up. I'm still pretty confident. He's still the main guy on that offense. I'd probably put him in like wide receiver, like back end wide receiver 2 area this week. Baltimore, their secondary is decent. I'd say like more middle of the pack probably this season than anything else. So it's neutral for Amari Cooper in the matchup side, but he's the main guy. He's getting the targets on that team. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah. Tommy's saying he leans DPJ. DPJ's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. And the good thing for fantasy about this offense is like you always worried that like a guy's going to come in and just like pick a new player to be like his favorite. Like so you in the back of your mind, you're worried that like David Bell is just going to get like 10 targets, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man.
Oh, my dynasty team would love that.
It would be nice. Yeah, I do have David Bell on a dynasty team too, and he's a rookie, so we'll see what happens with him. But like Anthony Schwartz gets a bunch of targets like that. That's a nightmare scenario for us as analysts because now we have this super low sample size of the ball being distributed everywhere. Would have been awful, but instead, good news: Amari, DPJ, and Njoku. Those are the guys you can consider. So it makes our life easier.
Yeah, and I'm fine starting Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm confident starting Amari Cooper. I'm starting Amari Cooper over Donovan Peoples-Jones this week. But I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is a solid flex play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been a solid flex play the entire year.
Yeah.
Quietly. On your Raven side, I'm starting Mark Andrews wherever I have him. It's so funny on Reddit how worked up people get about the rankings of these players, where it's like you move, like they'll get upset if I put anyone in the same tier as Travis Kelce. They're like, Travis Kelce needs to be in a tier of his own. And if I put Travis Kelce in his own tier, they're like, there needs to be an empty tier below Travis. or like it's the end of the world. Like somebody was like commenting, they're like, oh my God, Mark Andrews, what happened? I'm like, I have him at tight end 3. Like, you starting him in every single place you have him. You know what I mean? Like if you're not starting him at 10 and you're starting him at the flex, like
right.
Unless you have Hockenson and Andrews, which would have been a wild draft strategy, but I mean it's possible. Then you don't have any decisions to make with Mark Andrews. You just start him every week, and he's probably going to score 2 touchdowns because he's awesome. So just keep starting Mark Andrews. And I mean, I think we did this yesterday, right? It's like 5 for 50 is good, and that's what he gives you when he has a bad game. So just leave him in there. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now,
the situation's not ideal for him, but he's that talented. And Simon hates it, but who else are they going to throw to? The answer is probably no one because it's Tyler Huntley. But
we should have we should have a cliche alert that goes off when you say
who else are you going to throw to?
Yeah. But yeah. So on the Ravens, I mean, it's hard in redraft. I think I know the answer, but in DFS or anything, any of these wide receivers you'd consider throwing in there, who do you like best if you had to pick one?
If I have to pick one, it's probably going to be Demarcus Robinson. He's been solidly averaging like 7 targets a game, which is good, which is decent. He hasn't really turned that into a ton, but I think he can deliver a solid like 12, 14, 15 points, which a lot of times you need in that flex spot. I would put him around the same, definitely below Donovan Peoples-Jones, but in that same sort of category of flex player.
Yeah, on our Wednesday show, that is the lightning round show that we do, sponsored by Fantasy Alarm. It's me, Kevin Tompkins, and Britt Flynn. We have a term we like to use for guys like Demarcus Robinson, which is he's a professional. He's a professional wide receiver. And what we mean by that is that he's a guy that will be employed in the NFL as a wide receiver because he has the skill set to play split end, flanker, or slot. He can do it all. Seems like he can pick up playbooks. Teams seem to like him, but he's just not a superstar. He's not a super mega star. He's not going to, in most cases, shock you with a monster game. I know he did have one good game this year, but if he wasn't going to do it with Patrick Mahomes, when is he going to be amazing? Right. So for me, he's always going to have a job. Damiere Byrd, another professional wide receiver that is going to continue to get jobs, but fantasy relevance, no. Marvin Jones at this point, he's a professional. He's, there's a place for him in this league, but in fantasy football, we're looking for stars.
Yeah. But sometimes you need a Marvin Jones. Sometimes you need a Demarcus Robinson in this case when you're in a pinch. You get Deebo Samuel goes down.
Sometimes you need a Devontae Parker.
Sometimes you need a Devontae Parker. I need a Devontae Parker in some of my playoff leagues. We got Dustin in the chat. Said, good morning, boys.
Good morning, Dustin.
Welcome in, my friend.
Heck yeah.
We got Scott Fish. Said, next time, don't put Kelce in a tier. There you go. He's above tiers. Just see how Reddit reacts whenever you don't put
just don't rank him at all. I'm just like, if I leave anyone off, they flip out. They're like, where is Trey McBride? I didn't leave Trey McBride off. I love Reddit. I in the beginning of the season I would leave Taysom Hill off. That would get people worked up. They were like, we got to start him. I'm like, he's not a tight end. I don't know how you want me to analyze this player. You know what I mean? But like, if you do the normal analysis on this guy, his yards per route run is like 0. He runs routes, but they never throw it to him. Or I guess when they do, it's a touchdown every time. But it's impossible. It's an enigma, that player.
An enigma. All right, Coop, let's get into our next matchup here. We got Dolphins and the Bills kicking off at 8:15 on Saturday. Bills are 7-point favorites here, and the total is set at 44.
All right, let's play a little game. This is a gut feeling game. Of the players in this game, pick one that you think feels like a snow game player.
Who feels like a snow game player? Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like you're going to say Dawson Knox because you kind of hinted at that.
I kind of already did. All right, I'll go first then. Dawson Knox. And it's,
I wasn't going to go Dawson Knox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I figured you might not. But yeah, Dawson Knox, I mean, we talk about low ADOT guys. They run that RPO with such success, man, where they have their linemen are so good at pretending like it's a run. Like they very liberal with that 1 yard you get before it's an ineligible man downfield, but they fire off the line and then Josh Allen fakes the handoff, pulls it back and dumps it down. And whoever gets chosen to run the little sneak out route, whether it's Gabe Davis or Dawson Knox, they're always wide open because the linebackers, they read the guard taking the step forward. They read that and they read run, and by that time they're already sucked in, and the guy is off to the races. So I think Dawson Knox is in for a couple of those RPOs, especially if it's snowy and you can't see. Dawson Knox is probably going to sneak out for a few of those. So I do like Knox. He seems like a gritty snow game player to me. But in your mind, who's another guy you just gut feeling? Who do you feel is a snow game guy?
I feel like Tyreek Hill. It would be my snow game player, like the one that you just wouldn't really expect. Because I think they're going to try and give him the ball regardless, whether that's they just hand it off to him if they're having trouble throwing, or just throw a screen. But he's such an explosive player. I think they're going to try and work him in regardless of if there's 9+ inches of snow in this game.
That's interesting because every once in like LaShawn McCoy, you wouldn't picture being like that, but he just, his low center of gravity, clearly has a ability to move. Like sometimes you see guys that they look like they're playing a totally different game. What if Tyreek Hill, we've never really seen it. What if he just is amazing in the snow? Like what if he just like,
what if he loves it? What if
he's immune to it? Yeah. Brady, Tom Brady's always said that, like he turns into a machine in the snow. Like what if like the snow doesn't affect him at all and he's just as fast as always, but everyone else is like a little bit slower. I mean, that's an interesting narrative, man. I would pick Tyreek Hill over Waddle, I think, in that case. But yeah, the other one for me, Devin Singletary feels like a snow guy. And towards the end of last season, when it got cold, they really leaned on Singletary. He had like 6 touchdowns over the last 4 games. So I think Singletary probably a pretty safe start this week.
Yeah, I like the Singletary call. I wonder if they try and work James Cook in this game. If it's going to be a run-heavy game, you could see them just splitting those carries and trying to get work to whoever works. Because I feel like a lot of times in these snow-type games or inclement weather-type games, you're looking for a break-off play. You're looking for a play where the defense breaks down, where you have a run that just breaks off to 40 yards, 30 yards, whatever it is. So you think James Cook gets worked into this with Singletary?
I don't know. Dustin seems to like it, but James Cook he's not a power back by any means. He's right around 200 pounds, if not under. Singletary's the much bigger player. So James Cook, you got to count on them doing dump downs. And Dustin in the chat, not loving your Tyreek Hill pick. He says, you mean Tyreek Hill, who was held to 4 targets the last time they played, and now the Bills have 3 of their best?
It doesn't matter which Dolphins player I picked. Dustin wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah, Dustin, here are the snow guys. He names 53 Bills because that's it.
And the whole practice squad.
That's the whole practice squad.
That's 57. The list.
That's the list. Yeah.
That's
no
the
Dolphins.
list.
There were no Dolphins. Dustin, I want you to take your homer hat off for a second and pick the Dolphins player that you think will do best in the snow, offense or defense.
And also, have you ever tried to backpedal in the snow? Those defensive backs are just gonna be
on skates, bro. On skates.
on skates.
Yeah. I saw Tommy in the chat earlier said Darren Waller versus the Pats as a play. That is a play I'm not making. I don't even have Waller ranked in like my top 15 because not only is he coming back from injury, and not only is he questionable to play, and not only is Hunter Renfrow back, but Kyle Duggar is a killer against tight ends, man. It's just not a good matchup. Don't start Darren Waller, everybody out there. Sorry.
Don't start Darren Waller. Don't start. Are you starting Hunter Renfrow? Is he back?
He's
I saw
back,
that he was coming back, but is he actually playing this week?
They're both back. They're both back.
They're both back.
I don't know if they're both playing, but they've been activated off IR, meaning that now they have 3 weeks. So once you activate somebody, you have 3 weeks to actually elevate them to the team, or else they're done for the season. So that window is now open. It doesn't mean that they're playing just yet, but they're trending towards playing last I heard. And Dustin in the chat with his unbiased Dolphins pick in this snow game, he thinks that it's a Raheem Mostert game for the Dolphins.
I looked over on the YouTube chat. He has since deleted that comment.
Sorry,
he's like, no, never mind. Dude, I don't want too far.
Nope.
So
I got it.
Before we move on to our next game, Coop, Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. What does the same rules that we are applying to Devin Singletary apply to Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert here? How are you looking at this backfield?
So the question for me is, how healthy is Jeff Wilson? Because he had he left last game with a hip injury, I believe. So he's right now, it says he's been limited in practice with the hip injury and has the questionable tag as of now. So yeah, for me, I personally am going to lean Mostert just because if the guy left last game with this injury and he's questionable, there's a real possibility he goes out, plays a couple plays, and says, I'm hurt.
This is too cold. I don't like this.
I can't be taking zeros. I want
to go back to the lodge. Drink hot chocolate.
The lodge. Just picture him in.
I want to sit by the fire and drink hot chocolate. I don't want to play football.
Just picture him in that guy that took a real bad spill on the ski on the hill, and he's just got like mittens on.
His hips hurting.
It could happen. So yeah, I just week 15. I can't lose in the playoffs because I started a half injured player and he got me a 0. Especially one that's Jeff Wilson. If you start Saquon Barkley and he leaves, then okay, you started Saquon Barkley. If you get a 0 because you started Jeff Wilson, you've made a grave mistake.
It's on you, brother.
Yeah.
And Dustin said he would take Waddle. First, his nickname is like Penguin, so clearly a snow guy. Also had 6 targets in the last game.
Great point.
Honestly,
He also
pretty good narrative.
He also fits our narrative of you want to lean into low A-dot guys in inclement weather, and Waddle does run those shallow crossing routes. So yeah. Fair.
I like it.
I would say fair.
I like it. Anybody else in this game that you think that we should hit on?
Nah, dude. Mike Gesicki's dust.
All right, let's move on to our next matchup here. Coop, Pittsburgh against Carolina. I'm trying to pull up Pittsburgh is the 3-point underdogs. Where's Simon? I can't do this. 3-point underdogs. 37.5 is the total set here on this game. How you feeling about these Steelers? This is bottom of the barrel here. Steelers versus Panthers, man. 5-8 teams.
Yeah, this is one that's trickling the other way too, because it opened at 38.5. Now it's down to 37.5. So there's 3 games that are looking real bad in terms of point scoring. Actually, really kind of 4. There's that one we just talked about, which was the one we talked about before, the Browns Ravens. This one at 37.5. Cardinals and Broncos at 37.5. And then the Monday night game should be pretty bad between the Packers and Rams. That one's also under 40-point total. So don't look to these games to make your stacks for DFS. Like if you're going to do anything, pick one player out of this game and hope that he's the good player, but don't go out there and stack up like a bunch of guys because the odds are not in your favor. Right.
Yeah. I'm with you. Are you confident starting any of these more like Najee Harris you're starting? Right,
yeah.
Like you're not sitting Najee Harris. Freiermuth, you're probably starting unless you have Freiermuth and Travis Kelce.
I'll tell you what with Freiermuth is that he's clearly not okay. He hurt his foot. He hurt his foot a couple weeks ago, and he's been playing 55% of the snaps. Played 55 the week before, and then last week he played 56%. Don't love that. Don't love that. And he didn't practice yesterday, right? So, or he didn't practice on Wednesday. I know. I don't think he practiced yesterday either. So, not great spot for Muth. If we don't get good news on him today and tomorrow, I might move him down a little bit for Sunday. I might right now I have him tight end like 7 or 8 behind like Kittle and Njoku, Dulcich. He might have to go down below guys like Evan Ingram and Cole Kmet if he's only going to play half the game, catching balls from Kenny Pickett. He only has 3 receptions in each of his last 3 games. He's clearly not okay. So it worries me. It sucks because like he was so dependable, but very difficult to trust a guy playing half the game. It's the reason don't really like Chig, even though he gets targets. So
Right.
I don't know, man.
Opportunity.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, you need it. You need to be on the field to make plays. It's science.
We got Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. I think Deontay Johnson's a solid play. He's probably in that wide receiver, like high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2 range for me. Pickens is a little bit lower. Would you agree with that, Coop? Or are you starting Pickens over Deontay Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Pickens has felt like the better player, but I mean, I'm trying not to start either of these guys, man. Now, is Pickett or Trubisky going to be starting this week? Do we have info on that as of now?
That's a good question, actually. He has had a limited practice on Thursday, but he's still in the protocol, so we gotta wait and see.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I could read so bad. I wish Simon was here.
I know. He reads everything for us.
He usually reads everything. Imagine Simon misses a show and we find out that neither you or I can read. And we've just been kind of spitballing this whole time.
We've just been lying.
Just been lying. And it's like, damn.
Nobody in the chat actually says those things I say they say.
I have somebody next to me reading it to me, and I just Keith has been reading it into our ears the entire time, and we just like relay it back.
We just talk about the Bills. I'm like, oh, Dustin says screw the Dolphins.
I wish I could read so bad.
Yeah, God, I hope he's saying that.
So, Kenny Pickett, I don't know, man. I don't trust any of them. I don't want to start any of them. Deontay Johnson or Kenny Pickett, really don't. If I can avoid it, I will. Especially in a low-scoring game like this, it's just not ideal. Now on the Panther side, JL, how you feeling about the guys like Donta Foreman and DJ Moore? We've talked Chuba Hubbard into the ground this week. I think we don't trust him, but Donta Foreman, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, any interests?
Terrace Marshall. I'm loving seeing Terrace Marshall get involved more because I didn't give up hope. Simon,
I know.
He threw him out immediately, and I was like, Simon, don't do it. It's too early. Don't throw him out. But now he's catching balls with his knees.
Catching balls with his knees. Funky catches. Yeah, I mean, the Terrace Marshall narrative has been such a roller coaster because it's like they hire Joe Brady to be the offensive coordinator from LSU. Joe Brady insists they draft Terrace Marshall. So I'm like, heck yeah. Guy calling the plays, gets his player from college. He already knows all the plays. Let's go. Halfway through that first season, Terrace Marshall's rookie season, they fire Joe Brady. And I'm just like, oh boy, that's not good. That's not good because that was the reason I drafted this guy, right? And it's like now we're looking kind of stupid here. But then they come around and fire Matt Rule, and it's like, well, maybe Joe Brady was onto something. And now Terrace Marshall's playing a little bit. Robbie Anderson gets traded. So the Terrace Marshall roller coaster, I don't know where I don't even know where we are right now. I don't even know.
Me neither. We're in limbo, but it's better than where we were 6 months ago. So
we just went through the loop-de-loop and we're like, whoa, I don't even know where we are. But hopefully we're going up.
Yeah, I'm not starting Terrace Marshall in week 15 in fantasy playoffs. I can't do it. DJ Moore, I'm okay starting. He's more of a wide receiver 3+ for me, even in this good matchup against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Deonta Foreman, I'm confident starting. He's a running back 2 in my mind.
Yep. Yeah, he's getting 20 carries a game. And when you look at how the carries are divvied up, he's basically getting 2/3 of them. So Chuba Hubbard's getting double-digit carries, but that's because, Donta Foreman's getting 20+. So if there are only 30 carries to be had, you can expect Chuba to be getting less than 10 and Foreman to be getting double digit. There seems to be the formula so far. The formuoli. The formula is that he gets two
There's something there. There's something there, Coop.
We'll find it, baby.
The formuoli.
The formuoli.
I like that.
Ravioli. Give me the
formuoli.
I'm moving them up.
I'm moving them up just based off that.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We are coming up. We got Fantasy Detective with our friend Vinny Iyer. We got Hypothetically with Tim Wright. Good buddy Tim Wright. Best friend Tim Wright joins the show at 9. We're playing some Hypothetically, some holiday characters, battle royale brackets. We got some fun. Let's go. Stay with us. We'll be back. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
What's going on, everybody? Matt Bruning here with Campus to Ken on behalf of the Better Sports Network. We're going to give you a rundown of the first full bowl slate this Saturday, and we're going to start with Cincinnati at Louisville. Malik Cunningham and most of the offensive players for Louisville have entered the transfer portal. On top of that, their head coach, Scott Satterfield, is standing on the opposite sideline for Cincinnati. Play Cincinnati at 1.5. Next up, Florida versus Oregon State should be a great game. Oregon State's defense is legit 16th in passing explosiveness, and they have 2 back-end players on the Pac-12 first team. Anthony Richardson opted out. That means that they're going to be relying on Jack Miller to be passing the ball for them, who has a total of 14 pass attempts in his entire collegiate career. Ranked 97th in points per opportunity, and on top of that, their defense is bad against the rush, 121st in rushing success rate. True freshman Damian Martinez for Oregon State should have a massive game here. Play Oregon State -10 and play their over on their team total when that drops. Washington State versus Fresno State. The entire Washington State wide receiver room has entered the transfer portal. Their offense was ranked first in neutral script passing rate at 73%, but Cam Ward has nobody to throw the ball to. On top of that, Fresno State's secondary is legit. They are 27th in EPA per play and 23rd in passing success rate. Play Fresno -3. Rice versus Southern Miss. Rice is really bad, guys. Ranked 100th in EPA per pass attempt offensively and 99th in points per opportunity. Southern Miss offense has been efficient, 34th in passing per EPA. Play Southern Miss -6.5 for anything under a touchdown. Last but not least, North Texas versus Boise State. North Texas ended the season down bad. They fired their head coach, Seth Luttrell, and they failed to beat Rice when they were favored by 14.5 points. Boise State's defense is legit, and they might not let North Texas score in this one. 2nd in EPA per pass and 31st in EPA per rush, and multiple defenders on the Mountain West first team. Play Boise State -9.5, and there's a good argument to play their over on their team total and the under on North Texas's team total. Make sure to stay tuned into everything Better Sports all day for the up-to-date bowl bets, and tune into us at campustocanton.com every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern.
The fantasy football playoffs are here. Call in and talk about your team on Better Sports Network.
No, I did it again. Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network. Who's gone? I've lost now both of my co-hosts. I'm alone and afraid. I don't know what to do. Keith's gone. Nobody's answering me. But thank God, coming to my rescue, it's our good friend, Sporting News and Locked On Fantasy Football Podcast, Vinny Iyer, and Group's back. Welcome back. Thank God. I was so scared. Now you're muted.
I'm back. Yeah, dude. Might have gotten carried away petting my dog during the break.
Vinny.
Lost track of time.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Vinny.
Welcome in, Vinny. How you doing?
There he is.
Good morning.
Good morning. Usually you come on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, but today you're guessing on Coop and the Hogs. Let's go.
Skiddly-doo. No Simon today. The rules are off.
No rules. How you doing today, Vinny?
I'm doing well. Yeah, just can't wait till holiday gets here and enjoy it.
You doing anything fun for the holidays?
I'm going on the Polar Express, well, the fake Polar Express, in the middle of next week, in between the games.
Nice.
And then I might be going, I think I'm going to the Gator Bowl, so there's that.
Nice.
Whoa. Time out. Tell me about this Polar Express.
Back up.
Well, I think they have it almost everywhere. There's like a train that if you live near a mountain town, they probably have this gimmick, but it's like a train that goes up into the mountains, and then they create like this fake Christmas village where you meet Santa. And yeah, it's just like an hour train ride or something, but it pretends like you're going to the North Pole.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah, they give you like, just like the movie, they give you cocoa on the thing. Or whatnot.
Oh wow, they have one here. It's on Cape Cod.
Yeah,
Really?
Dude, I'm a big train guy.
yeah.
Big train. Yeah, they had Polar Express, the movie, playing at a bar I went to in Cincinnati for my cousin's wedding a couple weeks ago. That movie freaks me out, man. That movie freaks me out.
I've never seen that movie. Is it good?
I think the movie. I think the plot is good, but the animation is like. You ever heard of Uncanny Valley?
Yeah. Where it's too.
It's like too realistic.
You look at something,
yeah,
but it's not quite realistic enough.
It's not quite realistic.
Yeah, there's
so it freaks
something
you out.
weird about it. Yeah, I think it is. There's something weird about it. It looks just.
It's that like our brains want things to either be not like humans at all or exactly like humans.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
like
when you get in that
realistic.
in between thing, like you're. So I heard a very weird theory about that. That's actually kind of terrifying. If you guys have a moment.
Yeah.
So there's a theory that the reason that makes you so uncomfortable, right? And this is the horrifying part, is that somewhere it's like built into our brains. And people say that because of that, somewhere along the line, there was something that was not quite human that we had to be, but kind of looked human, that we had to be scared of in the
That's
past.
terrifying.
And that's why our brains now, when you see something that looks human, that isn't quite human, you have a very negative reaction to it, that it's like evolutionary, which I don't like that. I don't like that.
I don't like that one bit.
I don't like that. Dude, they're out there, bro.
They're out there.
I'm not saying that's a fact, but I'm just saying they're out there.
It's probably a fact. Vinny, we brought you on to play some fantasy detective.
Why are we playing
So
fantasy detective with a Jeopardy champ? Like,
yeah, it's gonna be tough for you, Coop. I don't think I've ever hosted fantasy detective, so this is gonna be fun. If this is your first time watching it, we got clues. I got a list of clues for each of these players. Essentially, I'm gonna one by one tell these contestants clues. They have to guess who they think it is, who they think the answer is. If they get it earlier on, they get more points. If they have to get more clues, they get less points. We'll go back and forth. Whoever gets it correctly first is gonna get those points. Pretty simple.
All right.
Pretty much nailed the instructions, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Way better. Who needs Simon?
Might be out of a job.
He had a job. Tommy said, "Hog and the Hogs." We got you, JL. Thank God.
Hog and the Hogs.
God. Thank God.
Yeah.
Scott Fisher's like, want me to come on? Oh, I see how it is. Coop returns.
I'm back. Sorry, Scott. That would have been such a huge upgrade to get Scott on over me.
Yeah, for real. All right, let's get into our first round here. Fantasy detective. Vinny, you were going to be going first on this one.
Okay.
So you will be guessing first. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's just do it.
All right. Your first clue. This player joined Instagram just before being drafted in the 2020 draft.
Jeez. Someone drafted in the 2020 draft. That's my guess. I don't know. I'm going to say Justin Jefferson. I think I'm wrong.
Justin Jefferson is incorrect. Coop.
I will guess a player shortly, and that player will be T. Higgins.
T. Higgins is also incorrect. Your next clue. His go-to Subway sandwiches are steak and cheese and chicken, bacon ranch on Italian herbs and cheese bread. And by the way, anybody in the chat, throw your guesses. Guess along with us. If you get it before these guys, we're going to praise you. And if you're wildly off, we're probably going to make fun of you. But that's what we do. Expect the same.
Have
to. Vinny.
Am I up here? Well, we know it's not the Danger Witch, so it's not Russell Wilson. Right. And he's not drafted in 2020. So that also would eliminate Russell Wilson. I'm going to say it's Joe Burrow. I'm going to go Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is incorrect.
Okay.
Incorrect. So, Coop, you got an opportunity.
2020. Is it Michael Pittman?
It is not Michael Pittman. It's not Michael Pittman. Your next clue, this player majored in biology and had a 4.0 in college.
How are we supposed to know what these guys majored in?
Vinny, you are guessing first still.
Yeah, based on him being a good student, I'm going to say it's Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert is correct,
Biology
Well
major.
done,
Good job.
Biology major. I don't remember how the scoring works in this game. Coop, do you?
Rule out Kadarius Toney. I think you're supposed to get a certain number of points with however many questions there are.
Yeah.
So, like, if there's
I
5,
know that. I just don't know how the point. Like,
how many questions are written down?
1, 2, 4.
So then he
1, 2, 3. So I think you get 2 points for that.
Yeah, he
Vinny.
gets however many remaining questions there
Okay,
are. You give him
that's fair. 2
that
points,
many
yes.
Okay. Vinny gets 2 points for that one. Good guess, Vinny. Well done.
Somebody call Simon. Ask him how many points.
Yeah, how many points?
On a
Simon-
side note, I think Justin Herbert, they always talk about this, like the rest of his family is like way overachieving beyond Justin Herbert. Like you're an NFL quarterback, but then there's like a doctor and a
Really?
lawyer. Like everybody else in there is like an overachiever. Oh, you're just an NFL quarterback.
That's
Like,
why.
people look down upon him. The family.
Yeah. She's his mom is like, she like pulls out her purse and she's like, here's my daughter who's a doctor. And they're like, what does your third son do? And she's like, I
don't have a third son.
I have no son.
I have no third son.
He's a sports guy. I don't know.
Imagine how my family reacts to a 28-year-old YouTuber. It's the same. The same. Same reaction.
You're the star.
Yeah, star. Well, Vinny, that's going to put you 2 points ahead. And Simon did actually just text me 10 minutes ago. Said, have fun on the show. Tell Vinny,
Okay. Back, I guess.
Tell him back.
Right back
I have
at
no
you.
idea what that means.
They all right back at you.
Oh, right back at you. Well, Vinny, you are in the lead here. This next one, Coop, you are going to be guessing first.
I'm
Ready for your first clue?
Absolutely.
This player's father, Jerry, played Major League Baseball for 6 seasons with the Montreal Expos, Pittsburgh Pirates, and Houston Astros.
Is it Kyler Murray?
It is not Kyler Murray. Vinny.
I do know this one.
Of course you do.
But I'll say I'm going to call it back. I think we had this previously in a different format here in one of our previous games.
What?
Yeah,
Vinny with the encyclopedic knowledge.
I told you not to. I told you we should have done poll perception again.
But I mean, I know this because I actually watched the dad play a little bit, and that's how I remember the name. It is Jared Goff.
It is absolutely.
We
Jared
have had
Goff.
that one before.
Vinny.
We've had it before. So you might, if you want to, throw it out and give him another one.
No, dude, because I was here and I remember we had it before.
Vinny,
So
you know you're supposed to use the Men in Black memory wiper thing after every show.
Yeah,
Clearly, you forgot.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm old enough where I remember him being a backup catcher. So that's the thing.
You're
I'm wiping Vinny's memory right now.
It's clear. It's clear. We're
Really
good
gotta
there.
bring-
Okay, now we can play for real.
Yeah.
Really got to bring my sunglasses up here.
You do.
Every single time you do that, Coop, I'm like, oh, I don't have them here.
That's why I always keep a few pairs in reach. In case I
Oh my God. Those are all like $250 Ray-Bans.
By the end of
Every
the
single one of them.
By the end of the show, there's at least 3 pairs on the ground, but I still have one available. Usually I throw a couple over my shoulder because I get pissed.
Dustin in the chat did get Justin Herbert before anybody. I did forget to mention that.
Wow.
And Tim said, hey, Dustin, we're 1-0 against you until at least tomorrow night.
It's
coming in hot.
We got Dolphins and Bills fans in the chat going at it. Meow. Meow.
The other clues in this were the player's net worth is $30 million. And this QB holds the record for most passing yards in a Thursday night football game with 465 yards.
Ooh.
That would not have given me any information, I don't think.
That's chucking.
That's
I would have guessed that Jared Goff would have more money than that.
30 million?
Been
Yeah,
in
you'd think you
Been in
would.
the league for a long time. Maybe he's bought a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, like houses.
Yeah.
Well, houses.
Jet skis.
I feel like houses, they count towards your net worth, right?
Probably.
Jet skis, they probably do not.
You got a nice fleet of jet skis. You never know where you could go, my friend.
Depreciating assets. Like that's the thing about like, buying houses and, stuff like that. Good. But then you see like that Vince Young was throwing like $500,000 birthday parties. Like that's not an asset that appreciates well. In fact, the next morning it's gone. So yeah, gotta be careful with those investments.
All right, well, it's Vinny. You are up to a
Okay.
commanding lead here. You got 3 points for correctly guessing that one on the first clue, giving you a lead of 5-0. And you are going first on this next round here. Here we go. Here's your first clue. When this player was drafted, he missed 4 calls from his new team.
I know this.
Let me think here. I'm gonna guess it's Laramie Tunsil, just because he was smoking
The
something.
gas mask. The gas mask. Laramie Tunsil is not correct. Coop.
Oh my God, I know this one. It happened this year. It happened this season. And it was it Kyron Williams?
It was not Kyron Williams.
Now I'm not gonna know it then.
Here's your next clue. As a freshman, he scored a 96-yard touchdown, the longest in Wake Forest history.
Oh, okay. I think I know this one because of where he was. I think it's Kenneth Walker III.
Oh my God.
Vinny, it is Kenneth Walker III.
Dude, I knew it was Kenneth Walker. I remember hearing the story of him, like his phone not being on, and like they like called his sister or something. Like, damn.
So, Vinny, you're gonna get 3 points for this because there were 4 clues.
I just have heard this thing every time Kenneth Walker plays. He transferred from Wake Forest.
Right.
He wasn't very good. Like every time. They mention it on every Big Ten broadcast where he was playing, and then they mention it on every Seahawks game.
It's almost like you don't watch football, Coop.
Fairly not, dude. I mentioned it every. Well, that was the second. I didn't have a chance on the second clue. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? The first
Yeah,
clue,
you know.
though, I remember the story of the not picking up and almost not getting.
You were on the right path. The other clues here is he signed a deal with True Sleep Mattress and had his whole offensive line to be sized for custom pillows.
I would not have got that one.
Okay.
That probably would have told you he's a running back or quarterback.
Yeah.
Running backs normally get gifts for O-linemen.
That's more of a quarterback move.
That's what I thought. And then the last clue is this running back has 150 rush attempts on the season for 696 yards.
That would have helped.
That would have definitely helped. All right, Vinny. I don't think Coop can come back. I think you've already won this game, but we're going to play this last round.
Let's play it.
And Tim guessed Najee in the chat. Would have been a good guess. But Wake Forest clue would have definitely debunked that one.
Najee would have been a funny one because they remember the rumors that he would sleep on the floor. And then he was like, that's not even true. I used to sleep in my bed. And then now then he gets a mattress sponsorship.
Was that Josh Jacobs or was that Najee?
That was Najee Harris. Yeah, they were
okay.
The broadcast. They were like, he grew up so poor that he would sleep on the ground, and then when he was in college, he was so used to sleeping on the floor that he would sleep on the floor because he was more comfortable that way. Isn't that wild, Chris?
Until Daddy Roger Goodell came in and saved him.
And then Najee tweets out, "I used to sleep in my bed, you bozos. What are you talking about?
Yeah, dinks.
What are you talking about?"
Have you noticed a lot of players have like mattress and bedding?
Yeah, we were just talking about the number in the last one. Remember last time you were on here, Vinny? Remember?
Yeah,
the whole mattress thing is like a racket, man. Like at the town I used to live in, there were like 15 mattress stores, right? And like, there's no one ever in there. There's no one ever in there. I
would have bought a mattress from a mattress store once.
Everyone had to.
Never did it again.
Yeah, they had the. I mean, I hear like a lot of fantasy shows, and mattress firm is everywhere. Like, you need to firm up your roster, and that's my favorite. But it's like
firm up your mattress. Firm up your roster.
You know, are you getting bad sleep? You know, so apparently a lot of us are playing fantasy football and watching the NFL don't sleep because we stay up late at odd hours and we need sleep.
And then
so maybe that's the connection here.
I like that, dude. I like that. And then you think that the mattress is gonna fix it, but it's not. It's it's staying up
because we have to stay up to like midnight to watch Thursday Night Football.
These games, yeah,
on Amazon. So
on Amazon. All right, guys, let's get into our last round here. Vinny, you've already secured a victory in this game, so this is just for fun. Coop, you are going first in this one. Your first clue is, as a freshman in high school, this player was a safety.
Cool. It'd be hilarious if he was still a safety and just, like,
That
just
would be really funny.
throw me a complete curveball. I don't know. Kadarius Toney.
That is incorrect, Coop. Vinny.
I have no idea. I'm just going to say Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams is incorrect.
Actual
Your next
safety, yeah.
Your next clue here is when he was 9 years old, he participated in punt, pass, and kick national championship and came in third with an overall score of 168 feet
So
and 9 inches.
He's booting. You know, didn't Andy Reid win that when he was a kid? And I remember seeing.
Oh, I think I did see a clip of that.
Yeah, they misspelled his name. Like, that's the funny thing of that clip.
Yeah.
If you watch it, it's like R-I-E-D.
And he's like a tank, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he looks way bigger than all the other kids.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
go ahead.
Oh, no, Vinny's up, right? It's Vinny.
I just gave you another clue. So Coop, you are up.
No, I went first. I went first last time. Oh, I go first every time?
Every time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Very cool. I will guess punt, pass, and kick contest winner. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is incorrect, Coop. Vinny.
Oh, man. I'm going to just say Michael Dixon. I know he's Australian, so probably not.
Michael Dixon is incorrect. Your last clue here is this player's brother, Jordan and Ricky, also played for LSU. Coop.
Jordan and Ricky. Is it Jamal Williams?
It is not Jamal Williams. Vinny.
Oh boy, LSU, Jordan and Ricky. I'm trying to think of it. I'm going to say it's Justin Jefferson because I think Jordan Jefferson sounds like a name. So,
it does sound like a name, and Justin Jefferson is absolutely correct.
Wow, Vinny, you're so good at this.
Final point 9-0.
Yeah, that's I told you not to have the Jeopardy guy on and play the Jeopardy style games.
I also know weird facts about different players,
I
like
know
colleges and things like that. That's once you give away college, I can probably suss it out. But like in terms of that, was just a total. I just somewhat vaguely remember Jordan Jefferson playing for LSU.
Yeah.
And an LSU, like LSU star, there's
there's
Justin
Jefferson
Jefferson
or
has
Jamar Chase or John
too
Landry or Odell Beckham Jr. It could have been, I guess, all of them. But
but it's a handful of players to pick from. So well
So
done,
good.
Vinny.
So good.
Vinny, before you go, let's get your help with a question here. Eric in the chat asking, Superflex, need a partner with Mahomes. Would you roll with the upside of Tyler Huntley, quarterback for the Ravens, filling in for Lamar Jackson, or Mac Jones going against the Raiders?
Wow, that's a tough one because I do like Tyler Huntley somewhat. I think they're going to run the ball quite a bit, but that's a pretty low total, right? The Ravens Browns, if we're
very low.
Yeah. So
38.
I'm going to go Mac Jones against the Raiders because I think they'll put up some points in that game, and the Raiders defense not very good. So I think that's a higher scoring game. So I'm going to go there with Mac Jones, even though you won't get the running from Mac Jones.
Yeah, I agree. The point total just too low in that game, 38.5. So, and we have Better Al in the chat with the strong arm. Get the strong arms for Al Williams. He said strong.
That's the Al move.
Yeah, that's Al's signature move is the strong arm there, and it was a strong showing by Vinny. Again, I was kind of thrown to the wolves here, and there was no one to protect me.
So. Yeah, you need Simon back.
We need Simon, dude. We need Simon. And
the
second question was one that was asked on the show.
You just go and scare us.
That's what he was trying to do. Now I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to protect me from the Jeopardy champ. So don't worry. Next time we gave you this one, Vinny. Next time you come on, we're gonna find some.
Just go back to what is it? Full perception.
Full perception.
You're getting full perception treatment next week, Vinny.
Complete ridiculous games. That's what we're gonna do. So you get one. Everybody gets one.
Thank you so much for joining us, Vinny. Week in, week out, we love hanging out with you. If you aren't already, make sure you go follow Vinny at Vinny Iyer. It's VINNIEIYER at Vinny Iyer on Twitter. Fantastic follow, Vinny. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, my friend.
All right, thanks, guys. Good luck in your fantasy football playoffs. Hopefully,
you as well.
You too, boss man.
Bye.
Cheers, brother.
All right, woo, we did it, Coop. Man, that was really embarrassing for you, man.
That was a pretty brutal. And the fact is, I knew that Kenneth Walker one. I just couldn't quite think of it.
Couldn't quite get there.
Couldn't quite think of what the heck to say. So there you go.
Well, guys, we got some hypothetically coming up. We got some holiday characters battle royale brackets coming up. Tim Wright is joining the show to help us out. Figure this stuff out. Figure out these big questions. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Festi's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Festi doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for
Eat
waffles.
breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's
first
the
of all, I wouldn't
equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got this steak sandwich, which was
Steak
excellent, by
sandwich
the way.
at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm
odd
not
guy.
an odd guy. I
Yes,
didn't
you are.
breakfast.
Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that.
No,
No,
Alfredo. That's what he gets at the
Bro,
steakhouse.
do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why, you know. I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look, you know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffle.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. The fantasy football playoffs are here. Call in and talk about your team on Better Sports Network.
Ooh, welcome back to Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. We are Front Yard Fantasy. This is the morning show.
Yeah, we are, baby. And before we get back into it, I want to talk to you guys about a little something. Let me just put on my hat for the occasion. One of my very favorite hats.
I don't mind the stranger in the corner, the handsome stranger in the corner.
We got this beautiful hat here. I want to talk to you guys about a little something. College football bowl season is here, baby. And Better Sports Network, we're inviting you guys to come compete with us, our hosts, our community. It's a free contest, and it's sponsored by Fantasy Alarm. Yes, the greatest source with the most handsome writers. You got Howard Bender, John Impemba, Britt Flynn, Kevin Tompkins, the whole gang, Matt Sells, the 3-time champion FSWA NASCAR Writer of the Year, the back-to-back. Then he won again later, 3 out of 4 years. Absolute animal. We're all hanging out over at Fantasy Alarm, and we have a contest that we're doing with Better Sports. It's a college bowl game pick'em that we're powering. Basically, you pick the winner of the bowl games starting Tuesday, prove that you know more than us, which in college football, you probably know more than me. And the winner is going to get some awesome prizes. So you click the link. We have the link in the app. It's on Better Sports. We're going to tweet it out. I'm going to tweet it out. We're going to retweet it. You click it, you sign up, you pick the winners, and the winners get some crazy gear. We're talking hand-signed stuff from either your favorite college team or your favorite pro team. Tommy, he's the best. He's going to find whatever team you like. We're going to find something awesome for you. First place winners gets a autographed full-size helmet. Legit. Second place, autographed hand-signed jerseys. Third place, autographed hand-signed mini jersey. Fourth, autographed hand-signed football. Fifth, autographed hand-signed photo. We are giving away 5 autographed items. It's a free contest at fantasyalarm.com, linked up with Better Sports. Get in there, visit bettersports.com/college bowls for the complete list of players and teams available. Awesome stuff, man. And it's free.
Man, you're like a commercial expert.
Can't beat free. That wasn't even a commercial.
Expert.
That wasn't
expert.
That wasn't even a commercial. It wasn't a sponsor. I work for Fantasy Alarm. I work for Better Sports.
I know,
I'm just sharing awesome information with everybody. You know what I'm saying? This is like, we're talking about free stuff. We're talking about free stuff here. And speaking of talking about handsome folks like we have at Fantasy Alarm, looks like we have a handsome gentleman joining us on the show.
We do. Joining us, Tim Wright, FYFer extraordinaire. How you doing, Tim?
I am doing great. How are y'all doing?
Doing fantastic. How'd you enjoy that commercial read by?
It was fantastic. Smooth, flowed. I got all the information I needed.
I don't know why you guys
pretty exciting.
I don't know why you guys keep saying commeral.
I know it's bothering you.
I'm just talking about a contest that I'm doing with
you
me.
Showed me weakness.
I'm just talking about a contest I'm doing with me and all my buddies over at Fantasy.
All my buddies.
Me and the gang, you know, and you guys are doing it too, which that makes
full-size
it even
helmets
more fun.
Are legit. I love me a full size helmet. I want a full size Dolphins helmet so bad.
The thing is, like,
you have to.
Well, obviously, it'd be ridiculous. It'd be ridiculous not to.
Gotta see how far this technology has come that they keep telling us about.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, I would be just as happy, if not more happy, with the autographed jersey. I feel like I can, even if I come in second place,
wear it.
No, you don't wear them. You don't wear them.
Put it on immediately.
Yeah. You wear the helmet. You don't wear the jersey, okay? We have rules.
Autographed under. We need some autograph gear. We should just sell stuff that we autograph that has no value.
I mean, not yet.
Not yet.
Autograph Tim Wright mini helmet. You got to put that mini helmet on when you get it.
Actually, this jersey, I asked for Dolphin stuff for my family this year. My brother got me a jersey, but he doesn't know anything about football. So he didn't give me a jersey of a player on the team. He gave me a personalized jersey.
Oh, no. Say right?
Yeah. That's dope, dude.
Yeah, so I got a Wright 93, baby.
Where do we stand on the customized jersey?
I think they're sick.
Here.
I think they're sick. Is like, if you... I'm down to wear jerseys of regular teams. I'm down to wear custom jerseys. Just don't make it something like super weird. Definitely not something offensive, but also I don't know. Like if you make your Pat's dad,
it's like didn't need to be said. Like, be like, definitely don't do anything offensive on your jerseys.
I think daddy is the line. I think that's probably the line.
Pat's daddy on the back of your jersey. Like daddy. That's where I'm like, okay, you know, all right.
Eric in the chat has a question for us. At PPR Flex 3 options ranked, in my opinion, best to worst: McKinnon, David Montgomery, Jamal Williams, Elijah Moore, Paris Campbell, or Cordero Patterson. Thoughts? You're flexing 3 of these guys. Which 3?
I'm definitely starting David Montgomery. I like his usage. He's he's only full-time player on this list, really. I mean, Elijah Moore, if Corey Davis is out, Elijah Moore is a full-time player, but the rest of these guys are all splitting snaps. David Montgomery is locked in. He has a pretty decent matchup this week. It's a high-scoring game, at least versus the Eagles. So I like Montgomery for sure. Of the other two, I mean, who else are you leaning towards on that one, Tim?
I mean, I like McKinnon. I know it's going to be a split field between him and Pacheco, but it's the Texans. There's going to be plenty of room to go around for all of those backs.
Everybody's going to eat.
Everybody's going to eat. So I think that's a fine flex, but that's where I'd go. I kind of like where the rankings are right now, actually.
The way that Eric has laid it out, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good stab at it for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd put Montgomery ahead of McKinnon, but it's the same outcome. It's McKinnon, Montgomery, and more.
I will say this. I'm definitely starting McKinnon and Montgomery. If Corey Davis is ruled out, I would start Elijah Moore over Jamal Williams, because we know that Jamal Williams isn't going to get the full work. Even if they do go back to the 2-man split, you're basically just like flipping the coin on a touchdown or not with Jamal Williams. It's landing on heads quite a bit, but we saw in the last game, or the game before last, DeAndre Swift ran it down, got tackled at the 1 yard line. In past games, that would have been a Jamal Williams touchdown. That time they let Swift stay in there and score the touchdown. That alarms me a little bit because that was our bread and butter up till now, right? To get that vulture touchdown. So it does worry me now. Elijah Moore, not to mention, we talked about it yesterday. Josh Larkey, a friend of the show, pointed out that on Twitter that the Lions are the stone worst team versus the slot, and that's where Elijah Moore lives. He ran 78% of his snaps last week from the slot. So I do like Elijah Moore. Might start him over Jamal Williams.
Yeah, I think I would start Jamal Williams, Jerick McKinnon, and David Montgomery. Elijah Moore is tempting with that Detroit matchup, like you said.
It's easy enough to sit there and say, if Corey Davis plays, leave it as is. If Corey Davis is out, then you can sneak him in.
Right.
How's Mike White feeling? He got like absolutely split in half on one of those hits. Is he feeling all right?
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, he's planning to play. I think he's all right.
How is that even possible, dude?
He's like
hit by a truck.
It's some sort of gelatin.
Some sort of gelatin.
He's like Gumby, dude. He's like, yeah, I'm good, dude. They put him in the ambulance. He popped back out, did a few more plays, jump back in. So
give it to me straight, Doc. Well, apparently your spine is made out of Jello.
That's the dog in you.
But it's also what's keeping you alive right now.
Yeah. You might be dying, you might not. So you might as well get a few more plays in, and then we'll take you to the hospital. That's legit how it went down. Yeah.
Well, Tim, we brought you on to play some Hypothetically and do some holiday character battle royale brackets. So let's get into our Hypothetically game. If you have not watched us play this game before, I got a list of hypothetical questions, would you rathers, crazy scenarios I'm going to propose to these guys. Their only job is to overthink the hell out of the scenario. They're going to respond to whatever the question or scenario is, but they just have to overthink it. It's pretty simple. Your first hypothetically prompt is, would you rather have Bill Belichick as your dad, have Tom Brady as your dad, or have Gronk as your dad?
Oh my God. So first question. Tim, I'm going to ask this one because I think we're both thinking it right away.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady's my dad, do I need to kiss him on the mouth?
Yep, that was my first thought.
Absolutely. Every time you see him.
So that's a +1 for Tom being Tom Brady's son.
Yeah, put that in the pro column.
Now, do I get to sneak tongue in there every once in a while?
You absolutely do, and he hates it every time.
Okay. Now you're talking my language.
Dustin said, or have Zach Wilson as your new dad.
Oh gosh, how does that even work?
That's a good one. I should have done that.
I don't like any of these options, quite frankly.
He said, how does that work? Because he's so younger.
Yeah.
As a Dolphins fan, this is a tough one. I'm like, yeah, this sounds great, dude. That sounds great.
It can't be Billy B. He just scares me too much. That would be. I'm not strict enough in my personality to be able to handle how I imagine regimented his household would be. Too many rules. Can't handle that.
Always seeking approval. That never comes.
Yeah. Brady growing up might have been cool when you were like little. Then it was really awkward. But now that he's divorced cool dad Brady, it might be cool again. Right.
Maybe
so
not.
Double the presents every
Single,
Christmas.
ready to mingle.
Not bad. And then Gronk is just he's a fun uncle to me. So my edge is going to be Brady at some point. But I'm still filtering it back.
Now, the thing with Belichick is that we've seen, because like the other guys aren't quite old enough to have adult children. Rob Gronkowski himself is kind of an adult child. But we've seen Belichick does have adult children, and I'm not sure they quite came out right. Like,
yeah, they certainly were warped by that household.
You know what? Steve Belichick, he's an NFL coach. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that haircut, I could give him a better haircut with a bowl and a blowtorch. I feel like. You know what I'm saying? So, and the lip smacking during the games, it's a little off.
What's going on, pal?
Not quite sure, because like we're almost deciding, like, do I want to be that guy? And part of me says yes. Part of me says I don't know. I'm not quite sure. So.
Billy B too. I think my fashion sense would just have gotten thrown absolutely out the window. Like I enjoy not wearing sleeves during the summer, but if you're trying to tell me I have to just absolutely live in cut off sleeves my entire life, nah. I need some sleeves sometimes, my guy. Like
that's a big part of your personality, Tim. That's what makes you.
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
Whenever I see you, I'm like, that's Tim. If you could lay out an outfit on the bed, and I'd be like, that's a Tim Wright special right there. And it's always, it's always good stuff. So I don't know if you could take that away from you.
Yeah, and Brady, say what you want about him, but the dude was dressed by Giselle for years, so I think he understands what he's doing at this point. So fashion sense in that family would be exquisite.
I think I'm ready to give my answer here.
Yeah, I think I didn't talk too much about Gronk yet, though. Gronk is my guy. That would be really fun to have a dad who is the same age as you. Somehow he just comes in and plays like, you want to go shotgun a beer? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I do, Dad. My dad doesn't do that now. He'll take a shot of Jaeger every once in a while, but Gronk will slug the whole bottle now. And that's, want to go on my cruise with me? So that would be a good time, but I would get no guidance or wisdom from that guy. So,
but you'd have a good time.
It would be a great time. It would be an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, dude. And plus, Gronk, love him to death. Not sure he's the smartest dude. I'm not sure I'd want those genes passed down to me. The intelligence level, I mean, he seems like he's got a lot of football smarts. So
are we saying we're resetting our timeline and we get their genes as well? Or is it just like suddenly he's my dad now? I think you would have to be raised. I think you would have to be their kid, right? So you're not you. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I'm taking Tom Brady, dude. He's got
getting those genes. I will say genes aren't a part of it. It's just you, because that gets pretty complicated.
I'm making my decision now. Either way, I'm taking Tom Brady because this guy has so many cool sponsorships. You'd have stuff coming out of your ears. I'd be wearing a Movado or what I mean, no, he's even cooler sponsorships than that.
Movado, just like normal.
Like no, he's got like Audemars, you know what I mean? Like as his sponsor. He's got Aston Martin.
FTX.
I'd be driving an Aston Martin. What a leftover Aston Martins. You know what I mean? Like FTX. I'd be wearing the finest Uggs a man could buy. So give me Tom Brady. Tom Brady is dad. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm picking Brady, but I would probably not really ever hang out with him that much. I'd probably just go hang out with mom. So, I think that'd be a great deal.
You would basically just be Brady's first kid. And hanging out with Bridget Moynihan.
Yep.
Be pretty chill.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are both going Brady.
I think so.
Nice and easy. I guess that wasn't as difficult as I thought.
It's pretty difficult.
And Nick in here, Nick DiNuccio saying the weekend can't come soon enough. Let's get it, boys.
Let's go, dude.
He says Phillip Rivers is your dad.
Phillip Rivers.
Which is statistically more likely than any of the other dads that we suggested.
Very
Antonio
true.
Cromartie. Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Is that a cheese?
Antonio Cromartie? You don't know who that is?
No.
Antonio Cromartie was a cornerback for the Jets who has like an absurd number of kids, but not the way Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers has an absurd number of kids and he raises them all. Antonio Cromartie has kids just sprinkled about the nation. Yes. He's like football Nick Cannon. That's Antonio Cromartie. He has
said, is that cheese? Classic JL.
He has 14 children, Antonio Cromartie.
Wow. Dang, that's pretty good.
The squad.
All right, guys. Well, not correctly. There was the right answer, but you successfully navigated that hypothetical. Let's get into our next one. Would you rather have to only communicate via LinkedIn or a Motorola Razor or helmet comms? Would you rather have to only communicate via LinkedIn or via Motorola Razor or via helmet comms?
LinkedIn.
I'm going to jump out right at the gate and say I hate LinkedIn.
Yeah,
the
LinkedIn
interface is trash.
mess.
They send out so many notifications. Like, you showed me 20 searches today. I'm like, I don't care. So I'm immediately axing LinkedIn.
Just imagine being trapped in LinkedIn and you're like, help! This is the only way I can communicate. And people are just like,
connect with me.
They're just
please connect with me.
Help! This is the only way I can communicate. And they just respond, "Happy work anniversary."
Congrats.
Yeah. Gosh, it's trying to send that in Morse code. Like, SOS, please.
Help! I'm dying. I'm like, here's an article on sustainable energy.
Yeah.
Well deserved. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Oh my God. I would.
Can't wait to see what you do.
That one's ruled out right away. So what were the other two?
It was via
Motorola.
LinkedIn, via Motorola Razor, or via helmet comms.
Okay. Important question. Does the Motorola Razor have a snake on it?
It does. not.
Oh,
damn. That's the biggest rug pull of the century. Damn it.
The rug pull. Classic rug pull. Usually I don't get got that bad. That was hard. That was rough.
That one linger.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Damn it.
I wish I could see periods and sentences as you speak them.
Me
Because
too.
then I wouldn't have fallen for that.
God, that got me.
I wish I could read so bad.
Yeah, God, if only I could read. Yeah, it wouldn't be too helpful for us.
Why was Gronk my dad? Damn it.
I knew I shouldn't have gone on the Grand Cruise instead of done my homework.
Damn you, Dad.
Pat said Antonio Cromartie is the Nick Cannon of the NFL.
That's what I was saying. Dude. He's out there, man. 14, dude. They could play legit 7-on-7 flag football. When they play basketball, some people have to sit out.
They have subs. They have 2 subs each team.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
That's
That's too much.
one ref.
Dude, I actually did. I had an Antonio Cromartie tweet on Easter that got a ton of attention because I tweeted Antonio Cromartie every Easter, and it was just a picture of an industrial egg warehouse.
Make the same joke, but with Phillip Rivers now.
Easily could. Next year, just every year, just recycle that joke. Look at the picture.
All right. So, would you guys rather only communicate via LinkedIn, via Motorola Razr, or via helmet comms?
Now, with the helmet comms, so the problem with that is I can only communicate with other people wearing helmets, or do I have a helmet on all the time and I'm kind of broadcasting it?
Is it like Professor X? Like I can what is it, the cerebrum?
It is not telepathic. It's absolutely not telepathic.
Okay.
You could be broadcasting all you want, Coop, but nobody's going to hear you. So
That
you're
kinda
just talking
makes-
to yourself. Unless they got a helmet comm.
That kind of makes that impossible. My significant others, my loved ones, I have to buy them helmet comms.
Yeah,
They're
or
pretty
you can
cheap.
just go ahead and marry Bill Belichick, like you have dreamed about for years anyway.
They just at home.
This is actually, he only uses helmet comms.
They probably do. They probably do at home. They just
all of his kids, the only way they can communicate with
and
them
they're
is
just like
helmet comms.
he's like, Steve, do your homework, and he takes his helmet off. He takes his headset off and smashes it on the ground like they do during the games. He's like, no.
Is there always like a perpetual play clock running too, so it cuts off at like 15 seconds? So you only get,
It does
like,
yeah, you have to communicate in bursts, or else, it does get cut off for a period of time.
Man, that'd be brutal.
Pretty-
You couldn't get any.
I think I'm ready. I know the answer.
I
Yeah.
kind of made this one a little
did
way
make that.
easier.
I was excited about the Motorola from the start. When my dad got one of those bad boys. He always let me pick out his phones. I'm like, Dad, you're gonna be the coolest boss dude out there when you get this phone, baby. And he was. He had that on his belt loop, just rocking that razor, click it out. Didn't know how to use T9. I was like, Dad, I got you. And then he still never used text anyway. So
I will say, if you take the helmet comm route, you do have your smartphone still, but you can't use it to communicate except via LinkedIn.
I already know what I'm doing.
But you can use all the other apps.
I'm taking the helmet comm.
You can play fantasy football.
Taking the helmet comm easily, just because I'm already pretty bad at texting and keeping track with all the group texts and all that stuff, and it gets me in trouble. People are just like, or like I go to what usually happens. I go to text somebody. I have something important to say, and I realize I missed a text from them a week ago, and now I have to like
Now you're a jerk.
awkwardly respond to that one and be like,
And then
"Oh,
smush your new thing in there.
can't believe I missed this." Also here, yeah. So give me the helmet
Here's
comm.
the thing that I care about.
Because then people have to, if people want to talk to me, they have to accommodate me. It's like, yeah, I'm here. I got my helmet comm. You know how to reach me, right? Like
That's a dangerous game. That you're gonna find out how many people care about you real quick.
Yeah,
I know.
You're gonna lose some friends there.
That'd be kind of tight.
Friends.
Yeah, forget them. You know.
Also, if it's all communication, does that mean I can't speak or write or do anything else?
You can speak and you can write. I'll allow that.
Okay. So then I'm confused. So what's the purpose of the helmet comm?
To like call.
I tried to justify the
to
helmet
call
comm,
people.
and then
I guess it's not just communicate, but it's the function of calling or texting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate to somebody who's not right in front of you.
Okay. All right. Long distance we're talking.
And you
All
can
right.
write. That's fine. It's just going to take forever.
Yeah, you're gonna.
That's available in all scenarios here.
Okay. Well, you may as well write because I never look at LinkedIn. It'd take longer.
I never check my mail, so I don't know.
How's the sound quality on the helmet thing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, actually, very clear.
Razor's not that great.
No, it's not good at all.
I think I'm ready. I think I'm good to go. Those questions helped a bit because that would be absolutely a psychotic move if he couldn't speak at all.
Need a separate helmet.
Sounds great, dude. Sounds like you just relax a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Simon's ideal world. So Tim, which route are you going here? LinkedIn, Motorola Razr, or helmet comms?
I'm going the Razr. Those phones are still sick. They still slap. That is not only a great way to communicate with people, that is a fashion statement. And these things are too busy. I can use Sleeper on the internet, like
on the internet,
on the internet, like an old person. So
Sleeper kind of sucks on the internet though. It doesn't work in my browser. Yeah,
not as good.
Not as good, but I'll take that.
Yeah.
For as far as accessories going, are you going with like the clip on the belt loop clip?
Rhinestones.
So
what color is your Razr?
Let me get to that. First off, yes, it is going on my hip, but I'm gonna have, you know how they have those, I don't have it on mine, but they have like the spinny thing, that like the notch thingy. Yeah. I'm gonna get that attached to my belt loop, but on like a zip it, you know how it like recoils.
Oh yeah.
So I can just pop it up, you know, do my business and then just
you just throw it down and
throw it. Yeah.
Like back into your hip.
Chain wallet, dude. Like a chain, but for your Razr.
But even cooler.
Yeah, but like I almost like, you know, even if it's on my utility belt, it's gonna be right next to my tape measure, so I can have that whole side, just left hand, just like measure something.
Straight
boom,
utility.
Drop it back. So
boom, that's T9 keyboard.
Right in between your tape measure and your pepper spray.
Oh yeah, I mix them up way too frequently.
the pepper spray is also on one of those zip things, so you like zip it up, pepper spray.
It also just sprays like ground pepper at you.
Yeah.
You pull it at, you're at a restaurant, you pull out pepper spray, and you're like,
stop. Yes. Quit it.
Enough.
Cut it out.
That would be brutal.
That's pretty smart stuff.
Wow, love it.
Yeah,
love it, Tim.
Easy.
So you're going with the Razr. You're going helmet comms, Coop.
Nick in the chat, love this guy's style. Yeah,
love this guy's style.
That's a style, all right.
Nick says, I choose carrier pigeon. Smoke signals.
Yeah, probably better than the helmet comm situation.
Probably. And Keith earlier said, Zach Wilson was my dad. I would be tucking him in.
That's true. Good night, Dad.
Sounds dramatic.
The younger stepdad is, that's a rough situation. I would, if I had a younger stepdad, I would insist on calling him dad.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Like if Zach Wilson was looking up with my mom, I'd be like, "What's up, Dad?"
It's like an 8 Mile situation.
Well, I feel like he still has to earn dad though, right? He still has to grow up from daddy to dad, right? You know, and then to father.
The most embarrassing part is to be like, "You want to have a catch, Dad?" And then he's throwing like rockets at you that are hurting your hand, and you're like, "You please stop!"
Smacking you in the face,
Dad. That's too hard.
you start looking like Cole Beasley, no teeth.
Because my younger stepdad was throwing too hard.
This is launching rockets in my face.
Right, dude. All right, let's move on.
Well done, guys. We got a question here in the chat from Big Max. Said, boys, full PPR. ETN going against Dallas. Marquise Brown going against I don't know who. Colt with Colt McCoy going against Denver. Chuba Hubbard going against Pittsburgh, or Chris Moore against Kansas City. Which of these guys are you starting?
Here's my thought. Yeah. And then my thought process on ETN and why it's got to be him is that you look at the leaders in, average snaps per game for wide receiver, or for running backs, right? And Saquon Barkley leads everyone at 79%. So nobody's playing more than 80% of the snaps regularly, right? And then you look at the next few guys, they're like, the top guys are all like 75, maybe 70%. If you look at ETN since they traded away James Robinson, these are his last games, besides week 12 where he got nicked up. 75%, 88%, 78%, 81%, 79%, 80%. So since that midseason trade, he's been the guy, right? He's dialed in, playing arguably the biggest snap share of any running back, right? He's up there with Barkley and Najee Harris and the boys. So for me, that type of usage is so hard to find. I'm starting him wherever I have him. You have to be a very specific situation for me to bench a player like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tim, are you going ETN here, or are you tempted by any of these other options here?
No, I'm not really tempted. It's ETN by a good margin. I mean, the Cowboys defense has looked good, but I mean, looking back on the teams they've played this season, it's like the Philadelphia effect, right? You're looking for the big games, the big offenses that they played, and it's just not quite there. So I don't think it's as scary a defense as the numbers may make it seem. So I think the Jaguars offense has been humming a little bit here recently. So I think ETN gets his opportunities to score. I think it should be a pretty fun game.
Yeah, it has been it's been tough for ETN managers the last couple weeks, but hold strong. We got this. We got another question in here before we get into our holiday characters battle royale bracket. Jeff Johnson, what up? Good morning, my friend. Said, do I start Judy over Waddle with all of that snow? With all that snow. Jerry Judy had a fantastic week last week. Who starting Jerry Judy over Waddle?
I think I am. Judy, I mean, with Cortland Sutton now, he's pretty locked into a certain level of targets. I think him and Dulcich, and it's not like the Cardinals have if we were going up against a team that just had a complete shutdown corner that they could put on Judy and just take him out of the game, like a Stephon Gilmore or somebody like that, then I would be a little more nervous. But the Cardinals don't really have that, so I'm not worried about him just being taken out of the game.
Has Wilson gotten out of concussion protocol yet? Do we know if he's back?
I don't think that we have definitive news on that.
Gotcha. I mean, I was going to go Waddle either way because I'm completely biased. So
naturally, yeah.
I just worry about the weather. That's all. If it wasn't for the weather,
it's a penguin, dude. Penguins love snow.
Making a lot of sense.
That's what we were saying. Yeah. No, this is close. I think I'm still gonna go. I think I'm gonna still go Waddle.
I mean, Judy did it once this year, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Man, this is tough. I would go Waddle if you need that upside. I'm going Judy if you need a safer floor, and that's going to depend on your matchup. The snow is definitely a high risk factor here,
I usually don't chase touchdowns of like a 3 touchdown guy, but I mean he's also getting the snaps. So, but it is very, very close.
Yeah. Craig said not all penguins live in or like the snow. Are you a penguin expert?
Okay. Do any Jerry Judys like the snow?
That's a good point. I've never met a Judge Judy who likes snow.
Yeah.
Neither. I'm trying to think.
I think there are more penguins that like the snow
than not.
Than most
I
animals.
saw Happy Feet, so you know what? Try and tell me about penguins.
Making a lot of sense. If we rationalize this way, people are going to stop asking us questions. Oh, he does a penguin celebration when he scores touchdowns.
Yeah, dude. Imagine that in the snow. It's going to be 20 times better.
It is way better.
It's so much better.
We're all rooting for it to happen.
All right, well, we are about to get into our.
Oh my God! Just imagine he scores a touchdown and they're all doing it.
Oh yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
I need it.
I need it bad.
They have to have already thought of that, right? Or we have to go. Someone has to know somebody on the Dolphins that we can tell them.
Someone get
the comms.
Call McDaniel.
Helmet comms, please.
I'm tweeting it right now before you guys can.
Nice. Well, coming up, we got the holiday characters battle royale brackets. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
What's going on, everybody? Matt Bruning here with Campus to Ken on behalf of the Better Sports Network. We're going to give you a rundown of the first full bowl slate this Saturday, and we're going to start with Cincinnati at Louisville. Malik Cunningham and most of the offensive players for Louisville have entered the transfer portal. On top of that, their head coach, Scott Satterfield, is standing on the opposite sideline for Cincinnati. Play Cincinnati at 1.5. Next up, Florida versus Oregon State should be a great game. Oregon State's defense is legit 16th in passing explosiveness, and they have 2 back-end players on the Pac-12 first team. Anthony Richardson opted out. That means that they're going to be relying on Jack Miller to be passing the ball for them, who has a total of 14 pass attempts in his entire collegiate career. Ranked 97th in points per opportunity, and on top of that, their defense is bad against the rush, 121st in rushing success rate. True freshman Damian Martinez for Oregon State should have a massive game here. Play Oregon State -10 and play their over on their team total when that drops. Washington State versus Fresno State. The entire Washington State wide receiver room has entered the transfer portal. Their offense was ranked first in neutral script passing rate at 73%, but Cam Ward has nobody to throw the ball to. On top of that, Fresno State's secondary is legit. They are 27th in EPA per play and 23rd in passing success rate. Play Fresno -3. Rice versus Southern Miss. Rice is really bad, guys. Ranked 100th in EPA per pass attempt offensively and 99th in points per opportunity. Southern Miss offense has been efficient, 34th in passing per EPA. Play Southern Miss -6.5 for anything under a touchdown. Last but not least, North Texas versus Boise State. North Texas ended the season down bad. They fired their head coach, Seth Luttrell, and they failed to beat Rice when they were favored by 14.5 points. Boise State's defense is legit, and they might not let North Texas score in this one. Second in EPA per pass and 31st in EPA per rush, and multiple defenders on the Mountain West first team. Play Boise State -9.5, and there's a good argument to play their over on their team total and the under on North Texas's team total. Make sure to stay tuned into everything Better Sports all day for the up-to-date bowl bets, and tune into us at campustocanton.com every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern.
The Fantasy Football Playoffs are here. Call in and talk about your team on Better Sports Network.
Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. We're Front Yard Fantasy. Welcome in. We got some Battle Royale brackets to play. Boys ready?
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting all day.
I'm waiting all day.
These are tough. They get a little heated.
Here are the matchups. We got Buddy the Elf going against Santa Claus in the first round. Frosty the Snowman going against Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. John McClane, Die Hard, going against Krampus. And Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas going against Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Oh my God. This is
Battle Royale bracket. We'll see who is going to come out on top here. Before we do, Fan First got a question for us. What up, Fan First? Welcome in. He said Kirk or Olave, Chris Olave. So Christian Kirk or Chris Olave, full PPR. Which of these two guys are you starting?
I like Christian Kirk, man. He's been pretty locked in. Olave hasn't been as productive as of late. He's kind of teams are kind of treating him as the top dog now, and you see a little bit of regression. Like before he was the rookie, they probably weren't keen in on him. Now that he's been the guy, they've been locked on him. But it's a pretty good matchup for him with the Falcons, so I could see an argument for him there. What do you think? Where are you going with this one, JL?
This one I'm gonna go Christian Kirk. So you're right. The Falcons matchup is enticing, but I expect this Jacksonville Dallas game to be decently high scoring. And Vegas agrees with me. 48 is the total, which isn't crazy high. Closer to the middle of the pack. It's high enough. It's better than 43, which is not like total in the other game.
It's not like this is last week where the Texans were 17-point underdogs. Jags are only 4-point dogs, so they'll make a game of it. Vegas predicts them to score some points. So
yeah,
there. Where you at it, Tim?
Yeah, it was going to be Kirk. The Saints they're one of my biggest sad faces of the year. I thought they were going to be able to pull something together, but just did not seem to happen, especially as of late. So
yeah,
wish it goes.
That's the way it goes. Well, let's get into our holiday characters battle royale brackets. The first matchup: Buddy the Elf versus Santa Claus. Coop, you have the first vote on this one. Who is winning in a battle royale to the death? Buddy the Elf or Santa?
Buddy the Elf getting a little bit railroaded here with this matchup, right? Going against a mythical omnipresent being. Right? That's kind of tough. But I mean, Buddy the Elf does have a absolute cannon arm. Like
rocket arm.
His ability, quick release. I mean,
full automatic.
It's the rapid fire full automatic that's a real problem because you get that snow in your face, dude.
P90X. Wait, P90X is a P90. Is that the gun? I don't know.
He's been doing P90X.
It's the Uzi.
P90's a little. Yeah. No,
I don't know anything about guns.
He's got an absolute clearly. Call of Duty guns.
P90X.
That's what we do know. Yeah.
Snowballs.
Yeah. So he's been doing P90X. He's ready for the holiday season. But I mean, Santa Claus. Tim, I don't know how you feeling on this one. What's your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. If you take out even the fact that Santa Claus is, faster than light, can literally warp reality to get at all the kids' presents across the globe in one little night. Yeah.
Did you vote, Coop?
Oh, sorry, I didn't vote. Yeah, no, I gotta vote. I gotta pick. I gotta pick Santa Claus here.
Pick Santa. One for Santa Claus. All right, Sam. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So just regarding all of Santa's supernatural abilities, I mean, Buddy's going against his hero. He's not going to even want to lay a finger on Santa. He he's going to take himself out because he's just that good of a person, that good of an elf. It's going to be a sad fight, honestly. But Santa takes it.
Santa takes. That's 2 votes for Santa Claus.
Good point.
Yeah, and I have to make this a sweep. It's Santa Claus. I think Santa Claus was essentially Buddy's papa, right?
Yeah.
Well, not as he had the elf papa, but Santa was basically like his grandpa. And so I feel like he could just put him in timeout, and Buddy else is going to be like, okay, So power dynamics, they're in Santa Claus's favor. He's going to move on to the next round. Our next matchup: Frosty the Snowman versus Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Tim, you're voting first on this one.
So this one's a pretty interesting one because Frosty the Snowman is that dude. He is a scary, scary being. He comes out of nowhere. He's magic imbued snow, and that's horrifying. You figure out if that guy can actually figure out how to use his powers well. He's going to be a pretty dangerous guy. I mean, I'm shooting icicles out of his hands, or I guess his hands are sticks, but shooting icicles out of his body. He can make scary faces with his coal. Like he's a scary dude, man. But then Rudolph, gosh, that Santa only is as fast as his best reindeer, and Rudolph is the best reindeer, right? I mean, we all know that. He's got that foresight.
Most needy.
Yeah, that's true. But Rudolph is also that dude. This is a pretty fun matchup. I think what it's going to come down to is Rudolph has to be that faster than light character to be able to bring Santa along all of these places across the year, across the globe. So Rudolph is fast as hell. But if you're smashing into snow in the night, that snow's just going to glob right back up into Snowman. Frosty stays alive because they're going to be fighting at night. If it's a daytime fight, Frosty's out. So it depends on the playing field. I'm going to give the edge to Frosty the Snowman here. It's a magical being that's fully in control of snow and ice, and I think that's pretty sweet. So I'm going to give it to Frosty.
Just going to just create a giant snow wall for
he's just going to like just ice glacier thing. Rudolph's going to sprint straight into it and just like
and then avalanche it.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty messy. Fun fight though. Good matchup.
I mean, the kids would probably be pretty disappointed with that outcome.
Yeah, they would not want to watch that one.
That's an adult watching event.
Yeah.
And Nick said Rudolph can just pee on him.
I mean,
that's true.
Interesting
strategy.
But
I don't think that stops him. I think
that might even make him more powerful.
Yeah, honestly, that might
give him. It just makes him a little bit gross. That becomes a
more
gross
liquid.
Factor in.
And Jay said Buddy could fashion weapons out of wood too. Look what he did with the furniture. Talking about the Buddy Santa Claus matchup.
Nick made it.
We did
him dirty. He got railroaded.
We did Buddy dirty, putting him against the big man.
I would say that's the thing is that Buddy, because the big man's probably the 1 seed. Buddy ends up like the 8 seed. One of these guys probably should have been an 8 seed. I mean, I think Buddy would have his hand against these guys. But Jail, it's your turn to vote, so I don't want to jump.
It is my turn. You went Frosty the Snowman, Tim. Yeah, I'm just imagining that like he can just materialize anywhere. Like you're just sitting in your kitchen, you just all of a sudden quietly behind you just starts forming.
Yeah,
and then you look when he's just sitting there standing there with his dead coal eyes staring back at you as you stabs you in the sternum. Ooh, it's Frosty. Rudolph is just a punk, man. Rudolph, emotionally needy reindeer. I don't know that he's going to be able to do much to stop Frosty the Snowman. I mean, he can fly, which is pretty sweet. But what else he's got? I mean, his red nose is going to give him away. He can't hide anywhere.
Yeah, it's so. This is a tough matchup. I don't think either of these guys are powerhouses, but it's a tough matchup between the two of them. Frosty, he's got an ice box where his heart used to be, but Rudolph, he doesn't play any reindeer games. So these guys don't mess around. I think that the flying ability, the thing with the abilities for Rudolph is that everything he does, Frosty's got the better counter. Like Rudolph flies around, but eventually he has to come down to play the ground game. With Frosty, like Frosty's got the ground game, and there's snow everywhere. Like Frosty,
on rooftops,
he's got nothing, right? And Rudolph can light up his red nose, but I mean he's got those coal eyes that are just going to absorb that. He can't blind a man that's got coal eyes. And the real thing about Frosty is he's a leader of men. He's a leader of reindeer. That's what he does best. But you don't get the other reindeer in this instance. Just he's on his own. He's not a great solo fighter. He's more of a system reindeer. So I gotta agree with you guys to go Frosty on this one. I think Frosty, he wins the ground game.
My mom in here with a really good point. But if they set the battle in Miami, does Rudolph win?
I think, yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be hard. Like I feel like Frosty can materialize, but then he's just gonna melt pretty
It'd
quick.
have to be a one-shot game.
Yeah.
if the battle is in Miami, it's literally just Rudolph walking over and just like lapping up what's left.
Just drinking Frosty.
Yeah, it's that's it. Yeah, that's an easy one. But I don't think it is.
We're playing in Buffalo this week, so that's the home field.
Games in Buffalo this week,
9 inches of snow on the board.
Hugely. I can't emphasize enough how much that benefits Frosty.
Yeah, Frosty really.
He's literally made of snow.
It's his sandbox now.
Yeah, that's his spot, and it makes it harder for Rudolph to fly. So yeah,
that deer is in trouble.
That was an easy one to move him along.
Jay said, "Fun fact: Rudolph can use his nose as a flashbang."
That's
I don't think he can.
That's the thing is I suggested that could even be a possibility, but when you have coal eyes, it's not even getting you. Like Buddy the elf would be blinded probably, but like Frosty with his eyes are made out of coal.
You're right.
Nothing.
Just absorbs.
It's just it's not stopping him.
And Dustin said Rudolph just flies over and knocks off Frosty's hat, and then Frosty's done.
Wow,
that's a good point. We didn't even bring up the crutch. He's got a crutch. It's his hat, right?
I mean, I could come into play next round. We'll have to see.
I mean,
I feel like Dustin just.
You'd think that he could just wrap more snow around his hat, so it's just a hat on the inside of his head now.
Power move.
I'm not accepting that one.
Inside hat.
Counter,
Tim. Nice counter.
Classic. The classic inside hat. We didn't account for that.
Yeah, of course.
Didn't account for that one. All right.
Man,
what's the next matchup, Shaya?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rudolph is kind of getting screwed on this one now because I think I might change my vote just on Dustin's reasoning, but it won't be enough. So our next matchup, John McClane going against Krampus.
Brutal.
I am the first vote in this one. Oh, man. John McClane, I just really want to see advance. I just want to see how far we can take this. Krampus, I feel like, is going to give John McClane the ride of his life. It's going to be tough for him. But John McClane always finds a way to win. So I'm going to go John McClane. One vote for John McClane. Coop, where are you going on this? John McClane or Krampus?
I'll tell you this. If you Google Krampus and type images, each image that comes up is more terrifying than the last. And the fact that this was a real...
If you look up a current picture of Bruce Willis, it's pretty scary.
Poor Bruce Willis. Unfortunately,
Touché.
he has like degenerative...
Oh, man. Well, that's sad. I didn't mean that.
But we're not talking about Bruce Willis. We're talking about John McClane, the cowboy. And
Cowboy, yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, dude. And the thing that Krampus didn't count on is that he'd be up in them vents, dude. Krampus, he's just not going to know where he's coming from with the sneak attack, with the gun taped back.
John McClane loves those vents, man. That's his playground. He lives in those vents. As the AC turns on.
Yes, he wouldn't know. Krampus is obviously from before his time. I don't think he's seen Die Hard, so he wouldn't even know that the gun's taped back there. That's the real problem. So he took down a whole squad of terrorists. Obviously, he could easily take out one Krampus. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go John McClane here. Gotta go with the cowboy.
Dang, John McClane is gonna move on to Tim. Where are you going with this?
Yeah, you guys are just so horrendously wrong on this one. I appreciate the commitment to the bit. I appreciate that. Krampus, you just need to watch the Krampus horror movie that came out a few years back.
I've never seen it, so that's makes it easier for me to justify picking the character from the movie I have seen.
Yeah, that's fair. But Krampus is literally on par with Santa in the mystical craziness sense. He is an absolutely horrifying being. Like at the end of the movie, spoiler, you're probably not going to watch it. I don't care. He winds up trapping the family in hell in a snow globe for all of eternity. That's the kind of omnipresent, powerful.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah. So Krampus would have stomped. I thought it was interesting that you put a man versus a demigod and then a child versus another demigod in this bracket. So we'll see how that goes.
And the demigod lost this one. So that's
the demigod.
It's anyone's game.
Scott Fisher, dude, spoilers.
How old is that movie? That movie, if it's at least 5 years old, then you're allowed to get a spoiler.
Oh yeah, I think it came out like 2015.
The original Krampus story is from it's like an old story from
it's horrifying mythos, dude. Yeah, it's like like Dwight is even afraid of Krampus, right? In The Office.
I think that's what Jay's talking about, Belsnickel.
Yeah.
Wasn't Belsnickel in this, and it's just Krampus.
About the same, dude. But
Krampus can only get badly behaved kids, though. So what's he gonna do against a
John McClane is literally a
yoked-
murderer at this
and-
point.
and
a yoked man's man like John McClane?
we literally do not have enough time. If we had started at 7 a.m. to talk about Dustin's last comment, we would not have enough time.
About it, not about. Yeah, he said
Die
John
Hard.
McClane gets eliminated because Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
We do not have enough time.
That's fine. That's
Not
a
have
fine
enough time.
opinion to have. I have no interest in weighing in on it.
It's
It's wrong.
Christmas is integral to the plot. Let's move along.
Okay, there you go. Coop clearly does. Take it up with Coop. Our next matchup, Jack Skellington against Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. Coop, you have the first vote on this one.
Okay. Now, we have to assume that the battle is being waged on Kevin McAllister's home turf. Can we clarify that? Because McAllister probably at a neutral site is going to have a hard time with this. If
It's a neutral site.
If it's neutral site, Kevin McAllister, that is. I think a big part of his success was the fact that I think a big part of his ability
99%
otherwise
rely on him knowing where the marbles are hidden. You know what I mean? Like without his firecrackers with him, I think he's gonna have a difficult time. Jack Skellington,
his brother's tarantula.
Yeah, Jack Skellington, kind of a beast, dude. He took down the Oogie Boogie Man. You know, they kidnapped the Santa Claus, put him in a sack. You know,
One day we need to have you, Coop, just go through the entire plot and sing the songs
and sing all the songs
of Nightmare Before Christmas for like 30 minutes.
What's this? He's playing when he plays against Frosty, when he battles Frosty. What's this? There's powder everywhere. What's So okay. Should I do all the songs or just
just all of them? Not now.
No, we're doing them now. What do we have? 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
So Jack Skellington doesn't get other characters from the movie because that would be a way to defeat Santa Claus if you could kidnap the Santa Claus. I've seen it. But if he doesn't, if it's just him by himself, I'm actually going to go with Kevin McAllister, just because I've seen Jack Skellington. He kind of bumbles around a bit in the movie, like gets his head knocked off multiple times. He's kind of just a bag of bones, man.
Yeah,
I think
it comes back to life.
He's not going to be as resilient.
That's going to stop him.
He's not going to be as resilient as the Wet Bandits. You know what I mean? Like one iron comes swinging down the stairs on a rope. He's just going to be a pile of bones on the ground. So I'm going to go Kevin McAllister. I think his home defense is strong enough to hold off this bag of bones that probably weighs like 50 pounds.
One vote for Kevin McAllister. Tim.
It's Skellington. This dude has reality warping abilities. He goes to different lands by a magical tree forest. The dude's crazy. He's got magical powers. And if you're talking about twists and turns around every single corner of Halloween Town, the dude was born to go into the McAllister house. That's light true. Halloween house for him. Yeah, he's going to see, what's a tarantula going to do? He's got tarantulas crawling out of his eyes, my dude. Like the dude eats McAllister for breakfast.
Stepping on nails, though.
That's true. He wasn't really falling for pranks. Like in the movie, they were pranking him left and right, and he was just like, not scared. So, yeah,
true. But that
he's like Will Smith.
That comes flying in. It's going to knock off Jack Skellington's head.
That's what I said, but I said an iron, so I think I missed.
Yeah, but Jack takes his own head off. He's like, "Oh, he plays basketball like Globetrotter style with it."
I think it was a paint can. The iron was second later on. So, but JL, will you settle this?
It's tied up, one vote each. Dustin in the chat said neutral site like New York. He said like Home Alone 2. Greg said Dustin's totally right. He went to a place in New York he had not been to and killed it.
That's true.
Boston, he did crush. New York, the streets are numbered.
That's true. Donald Trump was in that movie.
Oh, was he? I don't. Man,
he was. Yeah, he runs into him in the the lobby, and back then it was like Now it's like, what the hell?
All right, I'm going with Kevin McAllister. I'm sorry, Tim. I'm going Kevin McAllister. I don't think Jack Skellington. He doesn't belong in Christmas. He's a phony. He's gonna have trouble eventually against Christmas, where Kevin McAllister thrives. Man, hits that holiday season. Kevin McAllister just starts like powering up.
Skellington became Santa. Like he did it. He was that dude.
I think he's just a sweetheart. I think Jack Skellington's a sweetheart. I think he's gonna have a hard time hurting a kid, killing a kid here. He's not gonna be able to do that. Kevin McAllister's gonna have no problem killing Jack Skellington. He has no repercussions. So Kevin McAllister is gonna move on here. We're going into our second round of matchups.
This is brutal.
It's brutal. Our first matchup here is Santa Claus versus Frosty the Snowman. Tim, you have the first vote on this one.
See, now it seems like we've broken up this bracket into characters that should win versus characters that are being carried by nonsense and plot. So I think Santa's got to move through. I think he's just got to move through. I don't know. He's the only chance. He's the only chance against McClain and McAllister at this point. If they've already taken out two of the other heavyweights, like who else is going to beat them?
All right, so one vote for Santa Claus. We got to move quickly here because we are running out of time. I'm going to throw my vote to Santa Claus as well. I don't think Frosty stands a chance.
Santa was the one that generated the magic that lets Frosty even be alive, dude. You can easily
with his hat.
Yeah, it's easy, Santa.
All right, Santa moves on in this matchup. John McClain versus Kevin McAllister. I think I'm the first vote on this one. I got to go Kevin McAllister. I got to go Kevin McAllister. I don't know. It's so even, but I'm going to go Kevin. What do you think, Coop?
This is the best matchup yet. The double trickster versus trickster.
Versus trickster. Vince versus pranks.
Everyone's got things taped everywhere, hidden everywhere. The thing is, I trust Kevin McAllister to have booby trapped the Vents. The Vents would have been booby trapped, and then at that point, McClain.
What do you have, John?
He's done. Yeah. So I got McAllister in the Vents.
Where you
a
going
bunch of thumbtacks in there, right?
McAllister.
See, even thumbtacks can't stop John McClain. You watched him walk over glass, and he's like, "I'm eating this for breakfast." You watch him throw a car into a helicopter after driving it off a ramp that shouldn't have existed. The man himself is just a legend. And McAllister probably turned into the Saw guy, so it could be an even trade if they were both at the appropriate age. But if they're going like child version of Saw, then
so you're going McClain.
I'm going McClain.
Kevin McAllister was pretty non-lethal in those days.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, McAllister is going to move on. We have our final matchup here. Rapid round. Santa versus Kevin McAllister. Coop, you have the first vote. Where are you going?
I mean, so McAllister's whole thing is his ability to protect a house, but Santa literally knows how to create chimneys in houses that don't have them, like magic chimneys. Like if anyone can infiltrate this house successfully, it's the man in the red coat himself. So I gotta pick Santa infiltrating this house with a number of different ways.
Tim?
Well, see, if Kevin McAllister is as good as you say he is to get him this far, he would have already prepared traps in those magical vents.
Chimneys. Yeah,
you just call that a perpendicular vent, baby.
Yeah.
I bet there'd be a chimney here, right? Yeah.
Okay. So, and worst case scenario, McAllister is just absolutely putting rat poison in the cookies. So,
the poison milk and cookies.
They will both lose this fight.
Break the tie, quick.
All right, McAllister. It's McAllister for me. I think Tim, you could fully convince me on this one. At first, I was planning to go 100% Santa, but McAllister is just going to booby trap the heck out of that house.
With the upset of the century and the poison milk and cookies, Kevin McAllister is your champion, folks.
Woo, well done. Tim, thank you so much for joining us. This was Coop and the Hogs. We are here 7 to 10 every morning Eastern time. We're here on the Better Sports Network, and you can find us on Front Yard Fantasy on our YouTube channel. We will be back next week. But thanks for hanging out with us today. It's a ton of fun, and good luck on your Week 15 fantasy playoffs. Let's go.
Hope you win, folks.
See you next time. Bye-bye.